pull you up mute.
Welcome everybody to episode 78 of the effing title. And today we got a special one. We got one of long time viewer, first time speaker. It is, I would say, a good friend. I see him in chats all over the place. He's always around. He's always doing stuff. He's always helping out. It is the Vandal. Is it okay if I just call you Vandal though?
That's cool, man.
Right.
Salutations, Husky Nation.
Why don't you tell the good people a little bit about yourself? I know you're going to be starting up your own stream here soon. You know, so
Yeah. After I don't know 7 years or so of me going, I'm totally gonna start, dude. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream. Don't worry about it. That's the thing I'm gonna do. Don't ask questions about when. I'm just gonna do it.
Eventually. I have the chops for it. I can talk out of my ass for a very long time. But
Exactly. There we go.
I don't know. I say I'm the resident gremlin around these parts. You know.
I would say that was the funniest thing when I asked you for like a logo or something. And you're like, well, I mean, it's just kind of like my profile pic, and I'm like, oh, okay, can I get that? And then I looked at it and I saw that it was a fucking literally it's a Gremlins, and I'm like, oh, okay, like that fits.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's funny because my internet persona is because like I'm a troublemaker, I'm a mischief maker. There's nothing I can do about it, and it aligns with the 1982 classic Gremlins, or I don't know what fucking year it came out.
I'm gonna laugh my ass off if it was 1982 now or whatever you said.
I doubt it. I think it's 84 or something, but it's always aligned, so that went ahead and I found the cool one with the 3D glasses and a cigarette playing cards. So I was like, hell yeah, that's me. All right. And I put it up, and next thing you know, it just became like its own persona. Like, you go over to Charles's chat, and as soon as I show up, he's like, oh, it's the local cryptid. Like,
exactly.
But yeah, I don't know.
I will say I'm enjoying because because for some people, like for instance, like some of my buddies that have had on the podcast, right? Like Fedge, Rob, Zudi, Big John. I've known them since college. Like we lived together in college, all this. So I have like when I do like my hype intro or something, I can really hype them the fuck up.
You can,
right?
You got a rapport already built.
Exactly. With some people, I don't. So, but the thing I am finding really funny though is now doing that. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself? Just seeing how drastically different it is for everyone. Like some people are just like, well, I'm Rob. Hi, like that sort of thing. Hi. And then then it's like, fucking Danny a couple weeks ago. I said to Danny's like, well, I'm 5'7". I like this, I have this, I'm this. I'm like
long walks on the beach.
Well, that's the thing is, I said to her, I was like, Danny, this isn't a dating site. This is just telling the people a little bit about yourself. Like, if you want to say that stuff, then hey, sure, go right ahead. I'm gonna write it down just in case. But no, so that's one of my favorite ones. Recently is hearing, just going from that transaction to hearing people like, But today's episode, though, we got a good one today. We got two topics. We got boxing and we got Warhammer. One thing I know a little bit about, one thing I know fucking nothing about other than punching people in the head. So let's kick this thing off then with that one. Boxing. Punching people in the head.
Oh, Lord. Oh, man, I don't even know where to start.
Well, here, how about this? So, is boxing a favorite sport of yours? Like, for me, for instance, right? Like, I got my Madden custom-made shirt that I made like 3 years ago from a franchise that I did on stream. Like, football is my main sport, right?
I get you.
So, would you say the boxing is your main? Like, that's your thing?
Boxing is undisputedly my favorite sport.
Pun intended.
Period. Pun very intended.
Very.
Did we line that up too? That was perfect. I guess since I am in fact anonymous, so I won't give too much away, but I had a stellar amateur career in boxing that spanned about 6 years from freshman high school to shortly after.
Nice.
And how do I put this? I am a coveted amateur championship holder.
Nice.
It not huge or anything, but I'm trying not to give it like too much away. You start looking stats up and shit.
Well, okay,
Might be
so
somewhere.
so like no matter what, being a champion is still being fucking champion, right? Like
Right.
you can be the champion of fucking Alaska, you're still the fucking champion. It's it's the same, no matter what. That's the thing, right? That's fucking cool. So
Yeah.
so with that, what got you into boxing? Because boxing is one of those ones like the UFC, like MMA, right? Where it's like basically you're just beating the shit out of people. It's legal.
Yeah.
Like
right.
was that your main thing? Because I remember when I was in high school, that was some of the big things for people playing football. It was like, wait a minute, I get to beat the shit out of random people every other weekend.
Right.
You know,
You telling me I could just go hit that guy and it's okay? Like,
exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? In the area that I live, right in Vermont,
Mhm.
it's we're in the sticks.
Okay.
So we got farm boys, we got country boys, So like a lot of these guys, like there was one kid, I won't give out much of his name,
Right.
but I've never seen someone throw their body at other people the way that he did. Like it was just there was no remorse for his body, no remorse for their body. Like he played safety. And he would come down.
hell
He would
yeah.
come downfield, and he would put all 140 pounds of his body into someone. And I've seen him. I saw him take down like 6 foot tall, 200-pound running backs, just running downfield, just down.
So we're talking like big old rumph hitters.
Oh, it was
like
just
either you go big or you fall on the ground.
and it's funny because there's two types of kids around here. There's the kids that are like that, where it's like they're country fed, it's like, yeah, I had to go work on the farm before I came here,
Yeah.
And then there's the kids that are like they know that lifestyle, but they don't live that lifestyle. Like I had a kid that was an offensive lineman that refused to practice for a week because he got a paper cut on his pinky.
Actually fucking kidding me.
I'm not.
I got stories to go along with this.
I'm not this is while I was coaching. Like this kid comes up to me and he's like big kid, 6'5", 6'6", like 270 odd pounds, like not the best of shape, but big ass kid for fucking high school.
If
And
you're
he comes,
a high schooler, that's
yeah,
plenty enough.
it's like midway through the week and he comes up to me and goes, "Coach, I can't practice today." I was like, "All right, why? Like, what? Why?" And he's like, "I got a paper cut in class on my finger." And me being me, I'm just, hold the fuck, everybody stop what we're doing.
Carry this man to the bench now.
Paper cut. Like I made such a fucking scene out of it. Like my head coach was like, the head coach like literally like brought me to the side and was like, as funny as that was, you can't do that again.
Yeah,
like,
it was super unprofessional, but so worth it.
Well, it was one of those things. It was at the end of the year. We were having a shit year. As it was. That kid especially was pissing me off the entire season. But like, yeah,
Well, I
no,
mean-
like it was one of those things. So he missed like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then like Friday night at like the team dinner or something like that. He's like, "Coach, I'm ready to play tomorrow. I can play tomorrow if you need me to play tomorrow."
Nope.
And yeah, I'm sitting there like, never happening. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You're not playing a single down. You're lucky that you're suiting." Like,
Yeah, really.
And it was one of those things where like I had to talk to the fucking AD at one point about it because it was like, someone said that you did this. Yes, I did. I was like,
See you on Monday.
it's like, why? It's like, kid said he had a paper cut, missed half a week of practice, and then said he could play on game day. And he's like, okay. I was like, no.
All right. Quick insider question. Was it 2 a day's time?
No, so this was like mid-season, and I think this was ramping up. This was like mid-season, and I think it was ramping up towards our rivalry game.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
That's straight up bonkers.
So,
why would you get out of that?
Like, that's the thing, right? That's why I responded in the way that I did, was because I'd already had enough of this shit. It was like, season wasn't going well. This kid who, if he put his mind to it, could have been fucking special. Didn't. So I'm already pissed off about that. And it's one of those things, I've gotten some heat before in the past because of me wording it like that, and this is my thing with that. I just want to hit on this real quick, and then we can go to what got you into boxing.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I say shit like that when I see kids that have potential and they don't bother to put in the effort is because there's a lot of fucking people that don't. There's a lot of people that put in the effort that are 5'7", 220 pounds. They're playing offensive line at the school because that's the only position they can fucking play. Meanwhile, you have a kid that's 6'5", 6'6", 270 to 300 pounds, not putting in the time or effort. Physically already has the size. All you have to do now is put the rest of it to it. And it's the part of the coaching aspect to me. I want people to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. Right? If you're going to play fucking offensive line or defensive line, and you have that size to you, there's zero reason why you should not be in the weight room. There's zero reason why you should not be on the field studying your craft. There's zero reason why you should not be watching film.
Yeah, and like, I was going to say, like, this is why people hate raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because so much of it goes wasted, right?
Yeah. I mean, and as I've benched plenty of kids that have been pure just raw talent.
Mm-hmm.
I've benched plenty of kids like that. I put them on the bench, and instead of had the kid that's been busting his ass all fucking season, have them play instead. Because it's one of those things where I've had kids that, with raw talent, take 3 to 4 plays off at a time. And I'll say this right now, I used to do that when I was in fucking high school as well, and looking back at it, I hate myself for it, but seeing these kids, like, that's the thing. I want these guys to be the best versions of themselves that they can be. Right?
Absolutely.
Me being like, oh yeah, it's fine. Take some, take these, 5 plays off that can completely change the game. Take them off. Don't work really hard,
Right. Yeah. Go ahead and lose us the game if your pinky hurts. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So boxing. Okay. So what got you into boxing? Was it just the fact that you could punch people?
So there's a lot to it.
Okay.
Honestly, there's a handful of factors. As I've been pretty open with, I'm originally from Jersey City, right?
Yeah.
And without giving up too much, I grew up in the projects, right? So I was one of the only white kids around for like most of my initial upbringing, and then I moved down to Maryland about 12 or so, and wildly different areas. I moved from the urban projects to this like pseudo urban suburban type area. It's a very strange mix in the DMV area. And but the problem is you get so many people coming in from like the actual urban, Southeast DC, like hard boys, right?
Okay.
But everybody wants to mimic that, especially at this time, early 2000s or whatever.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be hard. Everybody, like, it was the last throes of like that gangbanger thought process,
Yeah.
And the problem is in the DMV is most people just like to talk shit and cause a scene and then walk away from it.
Yeah, I feel like that's not just I feel like that is I feel like in certain places it is more.
It's likely more common in some areas than others.
Because there's plenty of people that like I know that like, for instance, have just straight up talked shit, and it's one of those things where immediately it is met with a person who is from a different area. Like I had a buddy from Ohio that I played college ball with, and someone said some shit to him, and this Vermont kid saying some shit to someone he doesn't know, it didn't go well for the Vermont kid. Let's just put it like that. I died fucking laughing though, because I mean, we're not going to get into that one, but I can totally understand that.
So that was a very big part of it. It's just like just adjusting got me into more fights than I needed to. Alternatively, I had a lot of anger issues at the same time too. You got testosterone pumping, hormones are all over the place because puberty. And
also I can only imagine as well with being, because I moved from England to America when I was 13.
Right.
So like I moved to like an area that was there's fucking like there's like 2,000 people in my town.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's no one fucking here. Like, so, I can imagine that move, for instance, little different than your move, right? Like, your move is like moving from this one place too. Now there's this place, and it's like the completely different, atmosphere, right?
Yeah, it's a cultural shock,
There we go.
more or less. I mean, yours is definitely a much more intense case of cultural shock.
Well,
But,
so it's funny that you say that because you would think it, but it wasn't, honestly.
oh, really?
So where I grew up in England, I mean, the place that I grew up in England was a little bit. I mean, I lived with my grandparents for the last like year and a half that I was there, but like my dad was in the Air Force, so we were. I was always on military bases for school
Right,
and
right,
stuff.
yeah.
And like when we would go shopping, like we would go to like we'd go into Oxford, and shop in Oxford. But we'd also go to the American bases and shop, there and get stuff there. So like
What
I
is-
was
what is the C word?
oh fuck, commissary.
Commissary. I'm sitting here like confectionery.
Co-op came into my head 3 times, and I'm like, that's not the right word. Why am I? Shut the fuck up, Husky. But yeah, no. So like, I was kind of used to like a little bit of the American kind of the way America was because of that, and especially moving from like with my grandparents where they're really old school to Vermont where there's no one fucking here, so it's a little bit old school,
Yeah.
It's one of like I've always joked around with people that like when food comes out or like brand new food, like for instance the Mountain Dew Baja Blast had like 3 or 4 new flavors, right?
Right.
Haven't seen them
Oh, Jesus.
physically. I've not seen them in my state yet.
You poor soul. They're so good.
That's what I'm saying. It's like I put it in. I think I put it in Lauren's Discord at one point. I shared him in Lauren's Discord, and I said to Anthrust, I was like, look, kid, I need you to go buy these and tell me how they are, because I'm not gonna know for about a year, and then I might see them. Right, so you're moving around, and the atmosphere is, it's kind of like what I was gonna get at is like, you kind of always test the new kid, right?
Yeah. I moved a lot
So
through my childhood.
yeah, so you probably so that like, oh hey, look, there's the new kid, like that always is gonna pick some that's always gonna automatically start some fights and start some mouth off.
It doesn't help that like my face naturally mean mugs.
Oh yeah,
Because I'm an observant type. Like as I'm walking around, I pay attention to what's going on, and so I look at people to make sure they're not, because I am clinically diagnosed with acute paranoia, so I can't actually help it.
fair.
But unfortunately, when you're the new kid and you're sitting there mean mugging every dude who walks past you, you're gonna raise some eyebrows. But honestly, I don't want to say that's what those are factors that put me into a good place for being a boxing, because like I fought a lot. I was already good at it. But what actually got me into it is my mom, who is my fucking hero, right? Because like most people's parents, at least maybe it might be an old school thought process, but like a lot of moms are like, you can't play football, it's too dangerous, you'll get hurt.
Yeah.
Right. My mom would come out of the fucking crowd, come up to my corner, pat me on the shoulder, and go, hey. He drops his left when he throws the uppercut, so dip under a right hook. Bam, that's over. Love you, bud. Like,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
She broke a lot of norms too. Like my mom was an iron worker for 15 years. Like,
oh yeah, that's a different breed.
Yeah, she's a totally different breed. She used to weld power turbines. Like,
Jesus.
But yeah, that was our thing. Like Friday night, like after things got better when we were in Maryland, she had gotten up with my former stepfather, who trained me and managed me in boxing. Our go-to thing was order a whole fuck ton of takeout food on Friday night and sit down and watch HBO Friday Night Fights. And that was the family thing. Like, and now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm like, that doesn't sound like a normal family thing, but I'm all right with it.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, no matter what, right? It kind of like the normal Friday like thing or the normal family thing or whatever. Like I feel like no matter what, that doesn't really sit. Like there's gonna be someone that's gonna be like, that doesn't seem normal, right?
Yeah, it's always
Yeah,
yeah,
like
for
you know,
sure.
like I said, you know, when I grew up in England, we used to watch Friday the we always no, not Friday the 13th. Jesus, we used to watch Independent. We used to watch Independence Day on July 4th, right?
Oh, okay,
But like to the
fair enough.
people of England, though, if I say that to them, like this is the tradition that my family has. We put the fucking, you know, we put the loudspeakers on as loud as we fucking can. We blow our eardrums out with the first, you know,
Ooh.
and we watch, Independence Day. Like, yeah, English people would probably be like, what the what? Why? You know,
Yeah, but you're telling me, and I'm like, that's fucking dope.
right? Like
Like,
that's the thing. Like it's literally the thing that I do every single Independence Day. Like this last July 4th, I went over to my parents' house and sat down. We had some hot dogs, we had some burgers, had a beer, you know, and sat down to watch it. My mom and dad go, "So are we gonna watch both of them or only the first one? Because I really don't want to watch the second one." And I was like, "If you guys don't want to watch the second one, then we won't watch the second one. I'm fine with just watching the first one, you
I
know."
haven't even seen the second one yet.
Don't I went over it a couple of podcasts ago with my buddy Danute, and there's a sequence within the film that if they took that idea and made it as its own separate film, it would be better than, in my opinion, it could potentially be better than Independence Day, the first one and the second one. So,
Jesus.
yeah. So, like, I'll quickly hit it just so you know. They go to a area in Africa where one of the ships has landed, right, when they took all the ships down. The problem
Right.
is, though, is that when the ship landed, the aliens were still alive, and there was a
Right.
ground war that happened.
Yeah, that movie would be great. I'd watch that.
Right, I haven't even, like, that's the thing, I haven't even gone over it, because the ground war lasted 10 years.
Oh yeah, you could make 4 movies out of 10 years.
Right, like,
Goddamn.
it's, like, it was one of those things, like, they're going over it, they're showing, like, like, the skulls, they're showing, like, we understand their behavior, we know how they act, like, my father was the one who led the final rebellion that ended it, and he died, and now I am, the captain, like, that, and I'm sitting there, like, listening to them go over all this, and I'm sitting there, like, why is this not a movie itself,
Right.
or a series or something, I was like, you could turn that shit dark, you could turn that shit into almost like a horror fucking movie,
Yeah, do it dark.
right?
Please do it dark.
But all right, so moving around, getting around, growing up boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so well, was it just something that you picked up? Was it like as a family thing? Like,
So,
'cause
I
you
want to say like we got really into it, right? Because it was our Friday night routine, and next thing you know, I think because my former stepfather was a Golden Glove himself. He
okay.
never won, but he had been. Oh, shit. All right, Golden Glove champion. What up? But he, I guess he like saw potential in me because I was watching, like these Vladimir Klitschko fights, and I'm like, nope, he's gonna jab him for 2 rounds, and I was just picking apart these whole fights, and I could read them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was oftentimes right. I'm like, all right, he's gonna back him into a corner, he's gonna slip out with an uppercut counter and bounce out, bam, and so he was like, hey, you want to see if I still got my old stuff in the storage unit or whatever? Yeah, man, sure, I'd love to. And just about this time where this conversation was happening, I got into high school, and I did my 1 year of gym, and I had really taken off with boxing. I fucking loved it. I was getting any contract I could at any time. Like I was fighting. There was a point where I was fighting like weeks in between each other.
Oh damn.
Like I would fight the Sunday of the first of the month, and then I would fight the third Sunday of that month. Like I was as often as possible.
God damn, yeah. Because I was gonna say, for people out there that don't know, because of course I don't fully know, but like, what is the normal time period between fights? Because it's not that quick, right? Like,
It depends on the level. If you're a well-versed amateur, right? You're making some small-time cash on it. Once you get out of helmets is what I always called it. But basically when you're a minor, you have to wear protective headgear for, I want to say, like your first 10 fights, and then you can start signing contracts outside of that. And, like, there's a whole lot of rules, and I'm sure they've changed in the last fucking, what, 14 years or whatever. But,
Probably, yeah.
But once you're well into the sport, I'd say a normal contract in between is like 2 months, maybe, possibly 6 weeks. And as for professionals, obviously, you know, they give them 6 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's some of those guys that, like, it seems like they go off in like years. Like, yeah, I just got done with a fight. See you guys next year. Like,
millions of dollars involved. Also,
yeah, right.
I was fighting. Some of my best contracts were like $400. Like,
a little bit different.
I was effectively a boy growing up in Yonkers in the 1920s making that kind of money. Like, but yeah. So I was fighting as often as possible. I fell absolutely madly in love with the sport, and it obviously it helped, like all my anger issues and shit, because I learned. Yeah, I know it's kind of cliche at this point, but I learned discipline, and I got to the point where I wouldn't start fights anymore. I still got into them, but it wasn't because I had the big part to do with it. But fucking, I absolutely loved boxing. It was my whole life, and I'm glad that I did it at the time that I did it. If that makes sense, because like in freshman, I did my first year of gym, and because I was so like engrossed in this athletic sport, my remaining 3 years of high school, I took weight training.
Oh yeah, I mean, I
wouldn't have done that had I not had the need. So like, it got me in such great shape, like, because I'm not a small guy by any means. I'm a fairly large dude, but like I'm a large dude in the way that like I'm above average large.
Okay.
Because most of my career I fought in light heavyweight.
Okay.
And closer to the end leg, I fought in cruiserweight. I did fight in heavyweight a couple of times. It was a fucking mistake. But for those who don't know, light heavyweight and amateur is 189 to 199, or maybe it's 190 to 199. They split it off odd, and then cruiserweight is like 2 to 210, something like that.
Okay.
So like, by all means, not a small guy, but
yeah. Man, I totally get what you're saying though about the because of it, you like a little bit of schooling was different, right? Like you went to gym, you went to the weight room, you started doing this stuff because like that's one of the things that I've told people is that like if it wasn't for me playing football in high school, I wouldn't have gone to college like at the college that I went to. There's a college literally up the hill from me. That's where I would have went because that's where everyone in this town goes. Unless you're going, and literally, unless you're going to go play a sport or you're wicked fucking smart.
Wicked fucking smart.
Yeah, wicked fucking smart, dude. Right? Like, yeah, you can thank my buddy Roberto for that one. It's the only way I can fucking say it now.
Trust me, I got a buddy who's stationed in Maine. He brought back all that shit. Fucking funny.
He's like I forgot where in Mass he's from, but and it was like just some of the things he would say, like it like latched on and would not fucking let go. But like most of the time though, like people go up to the college on the hill. So like that was literally it. Like when I was talking to my dad about it while I was in high school, it was like either I go play football and we get scholarships and I go play at a college, or I'm going up on the hill. Like that's
right.
Like that. Like those were my options. So like as soon as like I think it was my sophomore year, I had a coach say like he's going to be one of the better players, if not the best player in the state. Like that sort of thing.
Right.
And I fucking let him down. I wasn't. But
Ed,
like at that,
I swear to God, every single one of my buddies who had aspirations of athletic grandeur, right? Like obviously I'm not a professional boxer. Like I had a buddy who went to a D2 school and realized he fucking hated football. Like
I started like actually getting serious about football after my senior like football season.
Mm.
Like he told me that at the end of my sophomore season. So for two fucking years, I just did football. I did football in school. I didn't go work out. I didn't go fucking try to make myself better. I didn't go learn the sport. I didn't go to any of the camps. I didn't do any of that shit. It wasn't until after I got done playing football, then I was like, all right, well, now I'm going to go play college football, so I should probably start working out and getting in shape.
Yeah, maybe I should start now.
Now, 32-year-old Husky looking back on like 18-year-old, I'd beat the shit out of that fuck
Oh
for
yeah,
doing
you
that.
stupid piece of shit. How could you?
You know, because it's like, god damn, like, you know, like I had a buddy in college, our senior year, say to me, if you came into college at least half of what you are right now, you would have been a fucking monster. And I was like, you can go fuck yourself, sir. Like,
you think I don't know that?
But yeah, no. So so you were taking different fights. Now was these just were these fights that you were going out and doing it, or did you have like a manager? Like what was that all about?
Well, so like I said, my former stepfather trained me, and he also already knew a bunch of guys because without giving too much away, he was a tradesman in DC. He knew a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
And he had a lot of old ties, so he could get up with like these like gym owners and whatnot, and kind of just put out the APB, you know.
Kind of get you in there as almost like not the opening, but like one of the kind of beginning fights, you know, like that sort of thing. Probably to start, right? Like, you know, like, hey, do you need someone for, you know, to open up, like, you know, you need someone to fight that guy, because like I know.
Yeah, do you need it? You need an undercard? Like I got a kid, you know. Yeah, he made it look so easy. Like, and I found out, you know, years later, I tried to represent myself, and no, you got to know people apparently. But yeah, it's he made it look so easy, but he had just enough connections to get me off the ground, and then next thing I knew, it was kind of just easy to get a match, because I had gone undefeated for my first 22 fights.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so I was kind of a monster.
I was gonna say as well, that must help. No matter what, right? Like, it's one of those things where, you know, it's like you start thinking about, you know, stuff that you need or people that you know need, and then suddenly it's like, well, shit, this dude hasn't fucking lost in a little bit. It's like, all right, well, let's see if we can get him. Yeah. You know, it makes booking really easy at that point, right?
Yeah. The unfortunate, I was gonna say it's unfortunate, but the beauty of it is I did finally take my first loss, and it made me better. You know, like Joe Frazier would say, you know, you got to take an ass whooping to give an ass whooping.
Yeah, there's some games, like college games that we played, where like the loss, like there's losses that have stuck with me longer than the wins have.
Yeah, like, absolutely. There's nothing more important than losing.
Like I have 2 championship rings. One as a player, one as a player coach. I barely remember those games. But I will tell you this: I remember hearing, because this was when I was a freshman. So when a freshman in college, you don't always get to travel with the team. The team left, went to go play Husky University in Maine. We lost 55 to fucking nothing.
Oh my god!
Right?
Holy shit.
The guys that came back that night, and it was nothing but fussing at that point. That was the name for the rest of my time there. It was fussing. It wasn't hussin'. It was fuck hussin', fussing. And it was one of those things where that stuck with us to the point where every single year that we went to play them after that, it was like we were going to blow them out. Like, this is over. Like, no. Like,
you boys were headhunting.
It's amazing. It's amazing what a loss would do. And it's always one of those things. I'm always intrigued to see how people react after a loss. In specifically sports, because in life it's a little bit different, right?
Yeah, sure.
In sports, it's always very interesting. You can tell a lot about a person based off of how they act after losing. Right?
That's incredibly true. Oh
I've seen some people who, like, a loss will happen and they're quiet, they're calm, they're just. But you slowly start looking, and they're putting in more work than anyone fucking has ever seen them put in before, and they could have been doing that forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you're starting to notice it. Why? Because he's making it a little bit more known. Like, look, I'm not. That's not fucking happening again. And then I've seen the people that, like, the loss happens and they're laughing, they're joking on the way back from a bus ride. Like, the amount of time, well, not the amount of times, but we had to stop a bus once or twice. And because, like, kids were, full week of practice, full week of this and that, put in the time, put in the effort, game plan's done. Each coach has put in about 40 to 50 hours worth of fucking film, coaching, study, work. We get blown out, and on the way home, everybody's laughing and giggling and being loud. Like, you look down a bus and you see the kids that are doing that, and then you see the kids that aren't doing that. Yeah,
you can. Those guys ain't taking it seriously, and those guys are about to fix what just happened.
Mm-hmm. So it's like it has always been a huge thing of mine. Like, winning is like something like, yes, you should aspire to a win, but seeing how someone reacts and how someone acts after a win or after a loss, after how they act after loss, that would tell you more about a person than anything else will in their entire lives.
Absolutely. After my first loss, I ended up having a series with the guy who beat me first. We had 3 fights, not back to back, just over the years.
Mm.
And he's actually the reason that I developed a new style. Because in boxing, a lot of the time you won't pick it up just as like a casual viewer or whatever, but a lot of boxers have 1, 2, sometimes even 3 pocket styles that they'll use to kind of counteract a style that they're going against. Like, a lot of guys I know, if they go up against a southpaw, they don't fight like I've ever seen them fight before.
They change it up.
You have to. You absolutely have to, because I'm in the boxing world. I'm known as like a bulldog, a bruiser. I'm the type of guy, very much like Joe Frazier's fighting style. He's my favorite boxer of all time. He's the man that beat the greatest. But it's very much take that first lick, get inside, and run them. And that works incredibly well, especially in my weight class. Light heavy cruiserweight in high school, a lot of these guys who are in those weight classes in the 2 or 100 range are over 6 foot, and I'm only 5'11". I'm not a short guy, but I'm not I'm a 5'11" king.
Yeah. So
I always had the advantage because of my style. These taller guys, I would get inside, they no longer have full range of motion. I have perfect 90-degree hooks. It's on. You're against the ropes. I'm gonna win this now. But unless that boxer knows how to change his style to work against you, if that guy knows range, you're never getting inside ever.
It always amazes me with stuff, especially just different stuff, right? Like, thinking about boxing, it amazes me with stuff like that, because it is like I said at the beginning, right? Kind of just joking around with you about it, but like, boxing is just punching people in the face. Right, because that's what people think, right? Is like, that's all it is,
It's where it came from.
Exactly, right? But then, like you just said, well, if you're going up against southpaw, then you got to change it up, and you got to change your style. Or if you got to go up against bigger guy, then you change your style. You do it like this, like that. It's amazing, just the amount of intricacies and like subtle changes, and especially when it's a sport like that, you've spent a lot of time researching and getting into.
Oh yeah, I've watched the Thrill in Manila. It's 70 times.
Yeah. like it's
that was my pre-fight.
Like, it's always interesting to me. Like, those things are always interesting to me, because it's the same thing with football. Like, I remember at one point I was doing something on stream. Someone came into my chat and was like, "What do you think of this person?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're not bad. The film was okay, and they're like, well, what do you think they did? How do you think they did in the, it was like the North-South game, right, for college. So I was like, I don't know. I was like, let me see if I can find the highlights. So I looked at the highlights, found it online. Very first play gets over, then I was like, all right. I was like, well, what'd you see? And they're like, well, when they were doing their back step, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, and then the throw was a little bit weird, like this, that, like this, or that. I'm sitting there like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? I was like, that's not what I'm saying. And I was like, why was this throw put on here when it shouldn't be, and they're like
Right,
trying to
why
break.
was
They're
this
like
play-
they're trying to break down the form of the quarterback going back, and this is the person who just
Yeah,
like.
not why it didn't work. Why was the play called?
And I'm sitting there, and I was like, the fullback is wide open in the flat, and the middle linebacker cheats up into the line of scrimmage because it's a play action. So the fullback runs to the tackle and then just runs out in the flats. That linebacker bit on the play fake, and now he has to run past and through D linemen, linebackers, linemen, all this shit to go get him. He's wide open in the flat at least 5-10 yards before that guy is even turned to move. I was like, this play right here doesn't show a good throw from him. This just shows a really great execution of a play action and a middle linebacker that fell for it. I was like, that's this. I was like, that's the reason why this is on there. And they're like, oh, well, I don't know if that's what it is. And I'm sitting there like, I literally just walked you through it.
I told you why. I told you.
Don't know how else to explain this to you. And it's the same thing with fights, like what you were just saying, though, right? Like, with a taller guy, if you get in and you start, boom, 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 it's lights out for him. So that's an easy thing, right? So it's
well, I mean,
those
they
things.
They call it the science.
Yeah, right. It's just it's amazing seeing some of this stuff, and like when you start looking deep into it, because as soon as you notice some of it, then it's like you notice it, like period.
Yeah, if you pick it up once, you will pick it up every single time it happens, and through all of its variations. I have picked apart some of the best fighters I've ever seen just from like a shoulder rotation.
Yeah,
shoulder rotation, like, and I'll say this. I'll kind of step back a little bit. I think the reason that I was such an effective fighter. Keep in mind, I am I am the type with the reckless abandon, like you were talking before the show. The safety who would go balls out. I was the kind of guy who would like get the adrenaline rushing before the fight, and as soon as you hit me, I was I was all in for the rest of it. So I think that's what made me very effective. But I was also trained orthodox. I was trained old school boxing, and to learn that kind of boxing, you have to know the basics of the basics. Like I'll ask you this: a lot of people don't know this. A lot of my friends have asked me to teach them. When you're in a fight, where are your eyes?
Well, most of the time, I just try to run through people because of my size. So,
Yeah.
Well,
apart from that, though, what are you looking at when you do that?
Well, most of the time, if it's me, I'm looking at like midsection because it's one of those things where it's a little bit the same with like pass protection in football and pass protection, and people get very easily confused and met with hands. And great explanation I ever saw of it was a professional D lineman saying that like 1 year he wore right ass gloves. And you would see as he's coming off the line, he's doing all this hand movement stuff, and it's for nothing. There's no reason to do it. All he's trying to do is trying to get your eyes off of him, because if you look at their waist, that's going to show you where they move. So while he's doing it with his hands, as soon as he notices that now you're looking at his hands, the move gets hit and you're fucked. Yeah, and we used to have the seniors at my college, at the college that I went to, they used to do this thing called the donut. Where that's what they would do to freshmen. Come off the line, throw the hands, and then they would throw it down under the waist, do the little, the little like okay hand symbol, right down low. Yeah, exactly. Because if you're as a young kid going up against these guys that are seniors, they're basically adults at this point, right?
Keep in mind the freshmen are out there with something to prove too.
Yeah.
So they're overthinking.
You're overthinking, and suddenly you see a hand go. I mean, I can tell you right now, it happened to me. I stepped back. I'm watching him. The hand went. I full head turned and looked down at the hand, and then he ripped inside of me, and I just stood there because I didn't like at that point. It was like there's physically nothing you can do.
Yeah.
The only thing you can try to step up into them, and most of the time, even then, they're so far past you at that point, it's not going to do much of anything, especially in one-on-ones, which was what it was. So I literally just stood there. I just stood there and just looked at where he threw it, and I'm just like,
if you try to react at that point, you're getting a holding.
Yeah.
Like,
So like it was one of those things where it's like, so if I like I'm gonna say, like the torso waist area, but of course, I
okay,
mean like
so it is mildly different, but because you are a trained athlete, you have your method that works, and honestly, that would kind of help you in boxing. But when it comes to when you're looking at your opponent, I know so many guys who like to look people in the eyes when they're fighting, right? This is a horrible mistake. The eyes tell so many lies. Like,
like yeah, Jesus.
when you're boxing, your eyes need to be glued to their sternum.
Okay.
You want to look right in between their pecs.
I was about to say, you think, because of course, like I said, with football, most times it's the hips. Hips can't lie.
Yeah.
And I was about to say, with boxing, I can almost see like sternum, high neck, like area, like the low neck area, because that's not gonna, if you move one way, it's moving that way. You physically can't, do some things when you move certain ways like that.
Absolutely true. If you are going to throw a punch, any kind of punch, your pecs move. Your shoulders move a lot, sure, but you could get faked like that. Right in the feathers of the pecs. That's the tell-all. That tells you exactly what you need to know without looking at anything else. Lets you set up because you can read from that. You don't have to watch him do the whole follow through. You're like, it's coming out of the right, swing low. Like, it's so like those harsh fundamentals are what I started on. And it worked out. It also helps that I am one tough son of a bitch. Like,
and it's one of those things. Like, there's like, you either got to be a little bit dumb or you got to be a tough son of a bitch to be able to do MMA and that sort of stuff. And when I say like you got to be dumb, what I mean is like you got to be the dude that's like, I've had 5 concussions in the last month and I'm gonna go do it again because, like
if I may quote a song of a good buddy of mine, if you got to be dumb, you got to be tough.
There we go.
But yeah, I don't. There's something about it. Something boxers, combat sports, or full contact sports, really, for that matter. Like, it's a different breed.
Right, no matter what, they're gonna change. Like, they're gonna change rules and adapt things based off the times and what happens. But at the end of the day, in like most of these contact sports, you're a grown man hitting another grown man.
Effectively, yeah.
And in some cases, a grown woman hitting a grown woman, right? Like, it's
not to detract, but have you ever watched women's boxing?
I have not. I used to watch women's hockey in college, and that's because,
women's boxing is, without a doubt, the most ferocious fucking sport I've ever watched, because every single one of them have something to prove. Just because they're a woman, right? Because a lot of the time you get, like, female sports aren't taken as seriously as male sports.
Exactly.
That's very old.
In at least in collegiate anyway, and this could have changed since I was in college, but they weren't allowed to hit. If you hit, it's automatically in the penalty box.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, so like there was a few girls who, they could have hit some of the football guys and they would have fucked them up.
Sure. My god.
There was some times where something would happen on the ice and like we would catch it and we would see them and it's one of those things where like you could kind of see them starting to skate and like change their angle a little bit and it's like, oh shit, she's gonna hit her and act like she was just doing like she's gonna hit her and act like that was just like it just happened sort of thing. Yep. And there was a few times where they got away with it, but then there was some times where it's like, yeah, no, that wasn't an accident. She went straight for her and
that was aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that completely off topic. Just women boxers need more publicity because oh my god, those are the most entertaining fights to watch.
Well, I mean, it's kind of it's the it's like a little bit with the same with the UFC stuff, right? Like you saw, the big one being Ronda Rousey, right, and her fights.
And Katie Holmes laid her ass out. Katie Holmes, traditional boxer, you can tell.
And it's funny seeing that stuff because it was weird because and I go Ronda Rousey because it's the one that I remember the most, right? I remember hearing about Katie Holmes, and there was like one or two other names that I can think of right now, but I can't actually think of the actual names. But like I have them, like I know there was one or two other names, but like it's not a regular thing. Like it feels like it is with like male boxing and male UFC, right? Like there's the names that show up every now and then, and they're there for a little bit, and then they're gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rousey started getting her ass kicked because she wasn't training as hard.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard when you're doing movies, TV shows,
Yeah,
commercials,
she
and and then she went into wrestling, and then that was
yeah,
that was bad.
But ironically, I absolutely hate mixed martial arts.
Okay, interesting.
As a professional sport, in my own defense, though, I will say that literally every single one of them are very talented individuals for taking up any kind of martial arts.
I find it interesting because it's always one of those things of it kind of goes back to the child aspect of, oh yeah, well, who would win, Goku or Superman? Right? It kind of goes back to that, right? It's the, oh yeah, who would win, Kung Fu or boxing?
Yeah.
Like mixed martial arts is so interesting with that, where like that's my thing, right? Is like that's the thing that I find interesting about it and it's the thing I find interesting about most sports is the chess match. The chess match is always the biggest thing. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I think I love football as much as I do, is because the chess match in football is just it is unreal. Like it is completely unreal. Like there was one of the guys that I was a huge fan of when I was coaching. Still a huge fan of him, but I just don't like talk about it as much anymore because I'm not coaching anymore, or, and all that. But Chip Kelly, I was a huge fan of Chip Kelly. The way that he used to run things, the way that he did things in college was just, it was unreal. It was a track meet every single weekend. They had the fastest guys. The kids bought in. They ran the same scheme. They did the same thing. And he said at one point, he said, "Look, he's like, there was one game that we played. They ran the ball, lost 4 yards on first down. So you know what they did?
No.
They ran the same fucking play again. Same formation, same play again. They gained 3 yards. Did it again on third down. They gained like 5 yards. They did it again on fourth down. They went for it on fourth down. Ran the same fucking play, same formation, same everything. Boom, run it again. And what happens? They get a first down. And it was one of those things where he's like, you have to trust the process. You have to trust what you're doing. You have to know that at some point you're going to lose yards, and that's okay because you will make them up eventually. And it was one of those things where it was such a weird mindset to have. But it worked, and the kids in Oregon when he was there, they bought into it. They bought into the track meet stuff. They were scoring every, I want to say they were scoring like every 40 to 50 seconds.
Goddamn!
It was one of the first times in like collegiate history that they were winning games and not winning the time of possession battle. Because most of the time, that's the main thing: is if you have the ball the longest, you win the game.
And to relate that to boxing, I mean, literally one of the most classic moments in boxing is that you lose some yards, you'll make them up later. Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope. Give up the first 3 rounds to win. Yeah, I've done it. I don't like rope-a-doping by any means, but
I mean, and that's the thing, right? Is it's one of those things. It's a strategy. It's and that's a chess match thing. Because I mean, especially if you're an opponent going against it, right? And you just throw it in there. Let's say you haven't done it yet. This guy's watched some of your fights. You haven't done this yet. Let's do it against him. Fuck this guy. Let's do it against him. Right. And now you're doing that. He could be sitting there fighting you, and then in his head he could be thinking about all of this different shit. Like, why is he letting this up? He didn't let this happen in any of the other fights I've watched. Like, what the fuck is going on
in his films? Yeah.
And like something as simple as that could be a huge mindfuck for the rest of the game.
Well, there's something I learned very quickly in boxing is that the biggest component of boxing is the head game. Like, I hate with a passion. I fucking hate Mayweather. but good Christ, is he a good boxer? Like
Mhm.
his pre-show, you want to hate him. But guess what? That's Muhammad Ali did. Muhammad Ali did the same shit. He called Joe Frazier a monkey on national television.
Yeah, that's
Like what? You can't do that. But guess what? It got into his head. The like holy Jesus. The head game is as predatory and ruthless as it is. It's functional. Like
I've seen game film where either I've done it or I've seen other teams do it, where it's like if you think that there's a weak spot on the enemy team, like let's say you think that corner that they have is like the weak spot, right?
mhm.
You'll see it. The first like 5-10 plays are designed to attack him.
Oh yeah.
And
I've actually noticed that.
I've seen and been a part of, like, I've had some things where it's like one of, like, I don't remember which team it was, mind you, but I remember having one game plan where literally my game plan was we're going to attack this one defensive lineman until they either take him out
Mm-hmm.
or we take him out. Like that's it.
Right.
And I don't mean that as like like we're gonna take him out. I mean like we're gonna force them to take him out.
Yeah.
Like we're like,
hey, they're targeting this guy. We have to pull him.
exactly. Or like, what,
Yeah.
we need to switch it, or we need to, we need to have him stun, or we need to have him do this, or we can't just have this keep and like that sort of stuff can be ruthless on a kid.
Oh,
You
for
know?
sure.
Like
Absolutely.
we ran we used to run the veer, so it's a version of the triple option, or it's one of the versions of the triple option, right?
Okay.
And we had a quarterback at one point that mentally he wasn't there for it. Like he couldn't do it. And when you're running against a veer team, you have to set your rules. This player tackles this player. This player tackles this player. This player tackles this player. Do they have the ball?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if they have the ball. What's your your rule is what? I tackle the fullback. Then you better fucking tackle the fullback if he comes at you. Right?
Yeah.
Because the triple option, the veer is built around deception. It's built around, okay, I'm going to put the ball in the fullback's stomach. I'm going to ride the ball with him. I'm going to stare at the defensive end. If that D end attacks the fullback, as the quarterback, I'm pulling the ball out, and now we go on to the second phase of the option.
Yeah.
If you sit there, I hand the ball to the fullback, and the fullback just fucking goes. So as a defense, you have to be very, like, strict on your rules. So when I was going again, we would go against it, I made it very simple to the guys. If you're a defensive lineman, you have they all answer fullback. Yes.
Mhm.
If that fullback comes at you and you don't take him to the ground, you're coming off the field. It's that simple.
Yeah, I
Because-
can kind of follow. I'm
So, but
not as big of a football fan as I used to be.
So
but,
what it does though is that especially with like a quarterback or with a fullback, if you start hitting them enough when they do get the ball, they'll be
Yeah.
expecting to get hit. If you start to get like you're expecting to get hit,
you tighten up.
you tighten up the ball. Your form doesn't go there. Suddenly the ball's out,
Yeah.
or you're
Yep.
you're anticipating the hit, so you're not running as hard. So now it's a 3-yard loss. So like there's
Yeah.
like the mind game aspect of it, like what you were saying, is huge.
Huge.
Like I
It's a
think
big
like
part.
I think people underestimate it to an extent sometimes.
Because like the football that I paid attention to, like I said, I'm not as big of a football fan now, but our team ran 4-3 and a wildcat.
Mm-hmm.
So I sort of understand like the deceptive plays from the wildcat,
Yeah.
but it's wildly different.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing that I said about with the chess versus checkers kind of aspect of it. That's one of the ways that
Yeah.
I've heard some people talk football is it's chess versus checkers. I'm playing chess, you're playing checkers. Let's see who wins.
It can be. It can be.
Yeah.
It absolutely can be.
And
But that's the same with boxing.
exactly.
Like as many brawlers that I've been up against,
Mhm.
especially because all of my experience is amateur. I don't know how many times I've met some corn-fed boy with an anger issue who got into the fucking ring just because he likes to throw hands.
Right, like this dude doesn't have form. This dude doesn't, know what he's
Doesn't-
really doing. But I tell you what, though, if he fucking hits you,
Yeah,
Oh.
doesn't watch the reels, keeps
Mm-hmm.
his hands low, his feet are firm on the ground. That guy's swinging. He's gonna hit you really, really hard,
Yeah,
but you can
eventually.
outplay him
Yeah,
so easy.
eventually he's gonna connect with one, and you just gotta accept it and know that's gonna happen, and it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah. The beauty of it is I don't think I've ever been tagged with a haymaker before.
That's good. That's good.
I have incredible reaction times when it comes to like things flying towards my gorgeous face.
The
Like,
two big ones being a lineman that I've had is one being cut. A good cut block out of nowhere, that fucking one, it hurts. But two, if it happens, it can fuck your whole like mentality up for the rest of the game.
oh yeah.
And then the other one is a crack block, or like or like almost like a we used to call them peekaboo blocks. I used to call them that because it's one of those things where when you do it, if they don't see it, peekaboo, bop, you know, yeah. And those ones are the worst because you can get through a lineman easily at the end of a game because just your conditioning's better.
Yeah.
But then if you get past the lineman at any point and you're in the backfield by yourself and it seems very, very weird that you're there and you shouldn't be there, probably means there's someone running down the line full speed.
It's a setup.
Yeah,
It's a trap.
Yeah, exactly. That's the name of the play. It's a trap play. It is a trap. And in the booth you're seeing that and you're sitting there going, oh yeah, it's a trap. On the field he's like, it's a trap.
Oh, trust me, I've encountered that exact play, specifically because there was a time period where I was invincible. I want to say it was maybe sophomore year. Yeah, it had to have been sophomore year.
Okay.
I was a couple years into boxing. I was full of testosterone and piss, and I joined our high school's training squad. I was like, hey, I don't have the endurance nor the will to be a starter or play on the team at all, but I do want like the extra cardio. And they put me on as an outside linebacker. And I don't know how many goddamn times I went in for a blitz, and it seemed too easy.
Yeah, I would say that one of my favorite ones that I ever had happen with me being the guy that was going down the line. It wasn't even going down the line; it was going out.
Yeah.
So we used to have a screen in college where, as a tackle, you would take one step in, like say the screen's to the right, you'd take one step to the left, dip and rip under the D lineman. Most of the time you wouldn't have to because they were already fucking flying. And then you're straight shot out, and as the tackle, your rule is first person from the sideline. Oh no, we were second. Okay. We were second from the sideline if there was two out there. If there's two on our side, second. One on the side, first. And I remember it was the beginning of training camp. I think it was my senior year, and there was a freshman on the defense at corner, and he froze.
Oh no!
And like this was when when I was a senior in college, I was three. I was basically 300 on the dot, but I was in the best shape of my life at that point. And I'm running full speed about 20 yards, and I'm seeing I just got told I'm going to be on the practice squad. They're going to have the freshmen above me because once we had 11 senior linemen, so once we leave, those guys need to they were going to be second string guys. So they could learn. Right. So I was going to be demoted down to the practice squad and help our defense, which helps our defense go up against basically a starter, is the way they worded it to me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I was fucking just full of anger, and I see this poor fucking freshman just out there, doesn't move, deer in headlights at me, and I'm just like, I'm sorry. That's all I'm thinking as I'm running full speed at this kid. He's just like, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's just, it's like shit.
Husky, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. You're a pretty imposing guy, like on the screen. And if you told me 300 pounds, best shape of my life, there would be a fucking smoke cloud that looked kind of like me, and my cleats still on the field.
Yeah, no, like my senior year, I was that was our because it was one of those things where. The years leading up to that, every year there was kind of the rumor of me potentially being cut, sort of thing. And I actually had a coach tell me that I was on the bubble at one point. So like going into my senior year, like I didn't want to let the guys down because, like I said, there was 11 senior linemen. That was just linemen. We had a graduating senior football class of 27 my senior year, which is one of the largest classes that one of our coaches had ever seen, like ever.
Yeah, for sure.
And so like it was one of those things where going into that year, I didn't want to let any of those guys down. So I busted my ass to a point where like it was like I came in a different person than I left the previous year.
Absolutely. Well, that kind of also somebody telling you you're on the bubble, like your mentality changes.
It like when it first happened, it was kind of like oh go fuck yourself. You're not cutting me. But then like as it got older, it was just kind of like it was like you're still gonna fucking play this. All right, bet. Watch what I do.
Yeah. You can't cut me. I'm this good.
Well, it was one of those things where it was just like it was like I'd been bouncing between second and third string on the line. One of my best friends, Big John, who was in chat, he was my start. He was the starting right tackle. I was his backup for most of my career. So we had a good rapport because it was starter backup. Right.
Sure, he can tell you, and not to mention you guys were friends. He probably told you exactly what you needed to look.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is like it was funny because it goes back to the chess checkers thing from earlier.
Yeah.
We ran a spread offense that was run first. Most spread offenses are either balanced or passing. Mm-hmm. I was a traditional pass blocker. I've always been a traditional pass blocker. Anyone that's football wise that I've played with would tell you I'm a traditional pass blocker. I'm a pass blocking left tackle. That's all I will ever be. Right. When I went to college, they moved me to right tackle, and I was supposed to be a run blocker. And it's like, all right, cool, bet.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So I was already at a disadvantage from that. I wasn't the strongest guy there. I was actually one of the weakest linemen there. So like it was like I had an uphill battle anyway.
Yeah.
But, back to boxing though. So
right.
So without giving too much away. What's one of your best one of your most favorite boxing moments? It can either be yours, it can be a friend's, it can be something you've seen. But like, what's one of those ones that's like it's gonna stick with you?
I have a tie.
Okay.
For two different reasons.
Okay.
The first is the very obvious ego boost.
Mm-hmm.
My best fight, I took a dude down in a 3-hit combo in 30 seconds.
Fucking love it.
That was it was especially gratifying because I mean, of course, fucking 17-year-old kid who's been just mooching this ego aura because he's a boxer, because that shit gets around. People in school know you for that. Like the moment you tell one friend, everybody knows about it. So that one had a lot of credibility to it. Also, he was supposed to be one of the most devastating fighters I had come across by that point.
Okay.
And Glass Jaw, who would have known?
you gotta love those ones when it's like
it was a classic Vladimir Klitschko type of deal. He was very tall, so people couldn't get inside him.
Oh, okay.
And I did, and that's all it took. The second one was the third series of me and my rival, who I will not name.
Fair.
But he served me up my first loss, and I couldn't knock his ass out. all three fights. I beat him the second two. The second one I beat him by points, and it was by 1 fucking point. It wasn't a gratifying win. And on the third one, there was a mishap. It's a TKO, and I don't count it. But he had dipped low on the ropes, and I caught him with a clean uppercut, and he fell out and landed on the fucking judge's table. And I chewed my goddamn gloves off, and I went to see if he was all right, because they took him to the medical table, right?
Yeah.
Because he had hit his head on the way down. And we ended up going to have breakfast. He's a great dude. And that one will stick with me the longest.
That's funny.
On a personal level, because it really wakes you up. Because to me, this guy is just the villain This guy is the antagonist of my life. He beat me. He he made my record worse, and I hate him for it. But also, I'm not really like a. I hold grudges, but I'm not like a vindictive grudge holder. So the moment I saw that he was in actual danger, it kind of all shedded away. Next thing you know, he's a really nice fucking guy, and he was like, "Hey man, that was a good shot." You
That's
know?
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now here's my last thing before we before we move on to Warhammer. My last question.
Okay.
So, of course, like we've said, we've talked about it quite a bit. Chess checker matchup. Of this and that. Is there a mind thought? Is there kind of like a brain thought, mind? Whatever the way you want to fucking word it, because I can't think of it right now.
I think I get it.
Yeah. Glad you do, because I don't. And I'm the one asking the fucking question. But is there ever a time when it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna knock this dude out in the first round. Or is there the thing of it's like, well, let's just, I'm just gonna take him to fucking distance. Fuck this guy.
So what I can say there is
Okay.
kind of a lot of the time though, if you go, I'm gonna take him out in the first round, that's either hubris and you're gonna lose, or this guy was never really classed for you to begin with. If you have the thought of I'm going to put him away quick, it means that the matchup was never a good idea to begin with. It's not helping. And keep
Okay.
in mind, I was a numbers hunter. Like, I didn't. In the beginning, I took whatever fight I could get because I was like still riding that ooh shiny new thing high. But as I got more into it, I was like, his record's kind of trash. That's not going to help me, And because I think as a kid, I was pretty like future oriented when it came to boxing and boxing only. So I would look at records. I would look at hits thrown and hits landed, and if they weren't like to my standard of a competition, I equate myself very much to Vegeta. Like I want that challenge and I want to work for it, kind of deal.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of the time, no.
I was just wondering because I was wondering if that was if that's a thought process that kind of goes through because
I'm sure it is for a lot of people. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that's very much a thought process for other people. For me, it's very much if you're coming in too hot, it's a good way to set yourself up to lose because you can lose that traction. You can lose that momentum.
Okay.
All of Mike Tyson's losses are because of that mentality. Mike Tyson would go out there and throw them goddamn bows, and anybody who could survive it beat him. Real deal Vander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, like just finesse fighters, defensive fighters get past that, and that goes back to the having your prepared styles, right?
Yeah.
Because I made my second style something wildly different from myself, bouncing around and floating. As a bruiser, I don't do that much. I bounce around. I can get really low, which was a big benefit, but my secondary backup style was counterpunching. Kind of like how Mayweather does it, where he just like he stays moving and he tags you with a jab or a cross on his way out. That's the style I adopted for the big hitters. So I guess that thought process, when it goes to I'm going to take this guy for the distance, that thought comes across when you have to change to a style that's not a power punching style.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
makes sense. Well, moving on to the other topic of the night.
Oh Lord!
Yep, going from one chess checkers to another chess checkers. We got Warhammer.
Two things that are just synonymous with each other, really.
Of course, everyone knows that. Like, you get done doing boxing, you go home, and you get ready to go play Warhammer. Like, I mean, it's...
You shower up, you change clothes, you get together your 2,000 point list.
Yeah, you get together your 2,000 point list. You get to get a little box of fucking figurines, and then you go to the store, and
you go home, get your toys.
Yeah, So like I said, this is one that I know a little bit about. I don't know a whole lot about. I know a little bit about. It's mainly 40K that I know about.
Okay, I mean, I'm well versed in both of them.
So I don't know if it's visible, but right up here, literally right by my finger, I got a little Space Wolves Warhammer Funko Pop.
Well, at least we know that you're on the correct side.
Of course I am. No, so like, when I was growing up in England, like I think I said a little bit before,
Yeah, it's much bigger there.
in Oxford, there's a little side street where there was a Games Workshop, and whenever we'd go into Oxford, I was always asked to go and check it out, and we would go in there, and I never bought any of the actual figurines.
Smart.
You can thank my mom and dad for that. I wanted to buy all of them.
Yeah, they saved you. They saved you a lot of turmoil.
What I did buy, I don't have them anymore. At least I don't think I do. If I do, they're in my parents' house somewhere in our basement, because our basement literally has stuff that we moved from England when I was 13.
And never unpacked.
I never unpacked. Like, literally. I went back recently, and I was just looking around, and I had a VHS of the first season of Power Rangers. Like, the very, very first season of Power Rangers.
Hell yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, why? Why the fuck did we bring this here? Like, what am I going to do with this? Because it's, like, it's not like a DVD where you can just throw it in fucking anything. This is a VHS. Right. It doesn't work on an American VHS system.
Oh,
because it's English.
You gotta spend $600 on eBay to make that thing work.
Exactly. I'm sitting there like, motherfucker. Like, but like, so I used to get the codexes. That was my big thing. Is I used to buy a bunch of the different codexes, because the codexes were a way for me to get into it without getting into it. Right.
Absolutely. And not to mention, I think the coolest part, and I think this is like a hidden gem that everybody who's in the scene knows about, and yet it feels like nobody ever talks about it. If you buy a certain army's codex, which for the viewers at home, the codex is basically the rules for your particular army, and it's got some fluff and pictures and like all the pretty golden demon winners, which is their painting competition. Anyway, something that I've always loved is that in the codex, you always get the point of view of the army that the book is for.
Yes.
So you always get these cool, like, and General, like, Marcus Leitdorf slew the greater demon of Zinch, right? And you're like, man, that's fucking badass. And then you go and read the Disciples of Zinch book, and they're like, and then the ruinous Marcus Leitdorf.
Yeah, right. And it's like, wait a minute.
It's just so it adds so much. You learn about these characters who are literally throwaway for the codex.
Well, and it's one of those things, like what you're saying as well. It builds kind of that rapport almost with the class, right?
It makes the world lived in. It is the epitome of what video games try to do when they're doing world building. It is deep lore that is unnecessary for you to know, but if you know it, you enjoy it more.
Yes, exactly. Because like that was the thing, is like, because I remember when I first started getting into it, I was a big fan of the Dark Elves.
I get it. I understand it.
Right, like I don't even need to go into it, and he already understands it. It's like, it's just, but like, of course, I grow up. I start. It's like, okay, Space Marines are fucking cool, and then I find out there's a version of the Space Marines that are wolf based, and as everyone knows, Husky wolf. That's my brand, my thing.
It's on brand, my guy.
Right,
yeah.
And then it's also like, not only is it that, but they're called the Space Wolves, but they're also Norse based, and I'm like,
yeah, please. One of all of them.
I'm in. I'm fucking in. Like,
dude, so here's the beauty of it. I got to see the Space Wolves imagined in their own right, right? Because like the game's been around since what, the early '80s, something like that.
Something like that. I mean,
before our time. But I've been collecting and into the scene since I was about 12. Now, for those of you keeping track at home, that's nearly 20 years. Like.
So apparently, this right here says Warhammer, the base Warhammer, 1983.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is it says till 2015. The game is no longer supported by Games Workshop, and the last supplementary rulebook was released in 2015.
That would be Warhammer Fantasy.
That's what it looks like here, because it says Warhammer, formerly Warhammer Fantasy Battle, or just Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay, yeah, it's totally different. They revamped everything.
Is it the Age of Sigmar?
Age of Sigmar.
Yep. That's present
Uh,
to today. Yep.
in my opinion, and this is a very divisive opinion, but I don't think anybody here cares. I think Age of Sigmar is better than Fantasy.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, like I said, I was the very little that I knew when I got into was 40K. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
assuming the 40K is still around, is still its thing, because from what I remembered when I was, because of course when I was moving from England over here, I started like I kind of was starting to understand more of it, and from what I learned or remember from what I remember reading is that there was Warhammer, then there was 40K, and then there was like Lord of the Rings, and then there was like the fucking space battles, and like there was like they basically just like, kept kind of introducing new things. So if they just got rid of Warhammer and now they have Age of Sigmar or AOS as Jackson put in chat, then
She knows what's up.
yeah, see. So then this is my question. So right here it says armies. In the 8th edition of the game, the following armies had individual army books: Beastmen, Britannia, the Daemons of the Chaos, the Dark Elves, the Dwarves, the Empire, the High Elves, Lizardmen, Ogre Kingdoms, Orcs and Goblins, the Skaven, Tomb Kings, Vampire Counts, Warriors of Chaos, Wood Elves. So do all those things still exist in AOS, or is AOS like a full they redid everything? I mean, obviously, I can also go forward and just look, but I mean, I'm gonna ask anyway.
That's taking away the point of the podcast. Man.
Exactly.
But no, some of them are gone.
Okay.
And it makes I'll keep it short because this could take years for me to explain. But in 2015, they not 2015, 2012 or 2013 maybe, they started a overarching campaign called the End Times for Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay.
And there is a chaos chosen by the name of Archaon, who assembled basically the 9 pieces of 8 for the Chaos Gods and brought Armageddon to the old world. And there was like these immense amount of books and fluff and lore and all these rules specifically for the end times. And basically, long story short, the world explodes and every race that made it off are the ones who are still around.
Oh shit! So like they literally just like they said, "I bet we're gonna do this war. We're gonna blow up literally everything."
It was, oh my god!
And we're just gonna kind of take a wall, put all the fucking people up there, and we're just gonna have 5 people come up to the wall. And we're just going to kind of do a pin the tail on the donkey sort of thing, and whichever ones they pick, that's what we're doing. Is that what I'm hearing? Like, that's basically what they did.
Kind of like it wasn't. I think the coolest part of it is they tried to do this many years ago with I think it's like Storm of Chaos or whatever, which was an MMO that they put out,
okay.
And they wanted what the players did and what factions won and whatnot in that game was going to decide the future of Warhammer.
Okay, that's kind of cool and interesting.
Unfortunately, it didn't really work out because there's a lot of main characters.
I was gonna say, like, if I ever heard that, immediately my first thought is like, all right, cool. So we're gonna go online. We're gonna get a group of people together, and we're gonna make the weird clowns that nobody likes. They're gonna be the ones who survive because fuck everyone.
Well, so what's funny about it is,
oh god, tell me that happened. Tell me something like that happened because that'd be fucking hilarious.
Almost. So at first it was going according to plan, but the thing to make it interesting and fair was that their main characters were still kind of written to do what they wanted to do, but they made characters for them and had them be a part of it. And Archaon, who is supposed to be literally the bringer of the end time, like he is supposed to be the most terrifying beast on the field, kept getting headbutt to death by the orc Grimgor. And all of their macros that they ran, all of their statistics that happened, because they did it with the game in mind, but also tabletop in mind also. And at the time, Grimgor Ironhide, who is basically the Mary Sue of the orcs, like him's the biggest, him's the best.
Okay.
He had a move where he could basically kill you with a headbutt that was really hard to hit. So numerically, it shouldn't be possible, but Grimgor kept killing Archaon because of that headbutt. Oh my god! So they couldn't follow through with that, so they decided to just make it like a literary epic, right?
Okay.
And it worked out fantastic. You got so many great send-offs to so many favorite characters because like a lot of characters fucking died during the end times. And some of them are like so cool because you've been with these characters for so long that like some of them brought a tear to your eye. And then there's some who just got like the real short end of the fucking stick. Like the dwarves were looking real good until one of the Belagor Ironhammer, who is the epitome of the mad dwarf, the pissed off dwarf. Like, I hate orcs, I hate goblins, I hate rats. Like that dude, he's dead because he accidentally left the door open. Jesus. That's a real thing that happened. That is written in the annals of fucking Warhammer. Is that Belagor Ironhammer, the king of defense, left the door open and got stabbed in the back.
I fucking love. I mean, I hate it.
Yeah,
but I love it at the same time, though. It is interesting because like I have wiki up right now, just kind of looking at Games Workshop and all the stuff that they have, and just seeing all the different things they've tried. Right, Space Fleet was what I was referring to earlier.
Ugh, that was the continuation of Gothica. Fuck that game.
You know, but like it's amazing. The core games is 40K. Middle Earth Strategy, which I thought is interesting that that's considered a core game. And then, of course, Age of Sigmar.
They've been pushing it for so long. They just doubled down, I guess, because they have the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Well, it's funny to me because it's like, you know, there's obviously I'm looking right now and it's like, Jesus, yes, there is enough that they could do. I mean, Fellowship, Two Towers, Return, the One Rule Book, Shadow and Flame, the Siege of Gondor, the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, the Scoring of the Shire, the Shadow in the East, the Fall of the Necromancer, the Ruin of Anor.
There is apparently
it's like,
a big enough following.
Well, that, and then also it's like
you never see it.
You go through and it's like, you know, it's like I said, I'm like maybe halfway through this list. There's enough stuff that they can do. As I didn't think about it, and then as soon as I started looking, it's like, yeah, I'm dumb. Like, it's definitely enough that you can do.
Here's my hot take: is a huge missed opportunity when it comes to Lord of the Rings, because their models are super dope, right? Like Games Workshop puts out quality. I'll give them that credit, but the Lord of the Rings models are noticeably scaled different than Warhammer. So there is no proxy model, there is no stand-in shit. So basically, they have an entire line that so easily could have been converted, and people would have bought so many. Like, consider like how many people would buy up the Rohan models.
Oh yeah,
just
well, like
to
that's
put them into like a Norska themed army or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't do that. They kept them, and that might be part of the contract. That might be, some stuff, but. Huge missed opportunity in my eyes because I've looked through those models 100 times. Like, I'm a huge Rohan man. Like,
oh yeah, I will say I recently refound. It was when I was doing. I forgot to get someone on the podcast, so I just did one by myself, and I was talking about card games and like all the card games that I played. And I used to play the Warhammer card game. I mean, not the Warhammer, the Lord of the Rings card game, and I still had the cards. So I actually was like showing them on stream. And I still have them, and that's
actually pretty dope.
It's funny. It's funny looking back through them because it's like I'm looking at them and I'm just like, it's like the lore and the world building that was here. It's like you could endlessly make stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like I'm like, holy shit! Like there probably is. I just don't know about it. But like. What was the name of the game where you start as like a civilization and you got to build it up? It was just called Civilization. Am I that stupid?
I mean, there is. I mean, civilization does do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, it's
but
like
there's a ton of them. Age of Empires.
there we go. Age of Empires. Like
Okay,
you could do a Lord of the Rings version of that, which there probably is.
there is.
Yeah.
It's,
See, so, yeah. I don't know these things, but
it's called Lord of the Rings Middle Earth. I think. It's an older game.
there's so many things, and then what do we get? We get a game about Gollum.
Yeah, but there is the what is it? Shadow.
Yeah, the
Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah,
Those were fantastic.
I've
The
been
Nemesis
told.
system was awesome.
I've been told that I need to play both of them for YouTube. I've been told.
I think you would have a blast with them as long as you are not a huge fan of the actual lore of Lord of the Rings.
I am to an extent, and I've seen certain videos and clips and stuff. I don't remember them fully, but I remember watching some of the clips and stuff and being like, "That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Why are there that many Nazgul?" Like,
if you suspend your disbelief, it's very worth it. Especially the second one. The second Shadow game was it had some great writing. Like
okay.
a lot of funny. But yeah, it breaks lore, but it's dope.
So this one we kind of started talking about while I was playing Back for Blood last night. It doesn't seem like Warhammer is that either that big of a thing, or I'm just gonna put it like bluntly, a thing in America.
It is very much a big thing in America. It's just one of those you have to know where to look kind of deals. It's very much like the punk scene. Everybody thinks punk's dead, but you can find a punk band, you can find a punk show anywhere.
Okay.
Like it's very much I wouldn't call it underground, but it's it keeps trying to push its way into the mainstream, but it I don't think its following is large enough.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I was looking at, and of course, like I said, I've got the page up here, the almighty Wikipedia.
Oh hell!
Exactly. And it's funny to think about because it honestly feels like, and this could be, they could have tried this and it could not have worked, but it feels like a missed opportunity that there isn't just, why isn't it a virtual game?
I can actually field that question.
Okay, please do. Because this is a thought that I've had, but I feel like I never either hear about it or see about it.
So the thing that has given Warhammer its exponential growth as a whole, the end times when they did a rewrite, brought on a mainstream system that brought in new players that could easily pick up the game with well-priced starter boxes. Somebody took over at Warhammer. Somebody, like, the management changed, and it became less predatory and more accessible. Because back in the day, when you went out to buy a battle force, you know, for the old schoolers out there, if you priced those bitches out individually, it would come up to the exact same cost of that box. Now they're putting out, you know, the get starting boxes, and these you get, like, I don't know, 10 of your core troops, a character or two, and the big guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, it varies between them, but, like, I'm a Lizard Man main.
Okay.
And their get starting box has 5 Cold One Riders, which are their cavalry on Velociraptors, 10 or 12, I'm not really sure what the exact number is, of the basic Saurus warriors.
Okay.
Saurus Old Blood, and a Carnosaur for, I want to say it's $90. Keep in mind, Warhammer is still very expensive.
Yeah,
it's still a hobby.
But
that $90 box pays for itself with the $70 or the $80 fucking Carnosaur that's in it. Keep in mind that the 10 Saurus Warrior are $50 themselves. The Cold One Riders are $50. The characters $25-$30. So you got, and now I will say I've sat around with my buddies and, like, actually drawn out, like, what the
actual
what kind of savings you're getting, and the Lizardmen one is one of the best ones.
Okay.
But like, you're looking at, pretty much double the value for half the cost with these Get Started boxes, and it was brilliant. It was beautiful. It boomed. And the only problem with Age of Sigmar in the beginning is because there wasn't any lore yet. The prices were great. The player base was kind of split because Age of Sigmar and Fantasy play very differently, like when it comes to a game.
Like actually, like playing.
Yeah, like actual on the table, like where Fantasy was very rank and file, and like you had to turn like 45 degrees and do flank maneuvers and stuff. This was more of a you move them whatever direction they can go, and if you hit somebody, you fight. And like it was more simplified. It plays very similar to 40K now.
Oh, okay.
40K was kind of the set, except it's like a smidgen different. But once the lore started getting out, they started building up this immense background, and now they have stories rolling, and they got all these new characters involved, and it's kind of formed into its own thing many years later, obviously. And now you have this whole brand new, more interesting, like the reason that the Tomb Kings are gone is because they never really fit this fucking setting. Like the Tomb Kings are very cool. They're all mummies and like pharaohs obsessed with immortality.
Yeah, it seems like the like especially with the Warhammer, right? It's very much almost like the old school kind of like we were saying, lizard people.
Yeah.
And then you look at the humans. Most of the time, the humans are like knights, right? Like that sort of thing.
Well, in Warhammer, they were very varied, but
but like so,
the
like
Bretonians were knights, the French knights.
There we go. Then you have the goblins, right? Like very certain stylized pieces. And then you throw in Egyptian mummies in there, and it kind of is like, wait a minute, time out.
And if you knew the overarching stories and shit, they did make Tomb Kings fit very well. If you're looking at a big row of tables, people playing, most of the time, all you see are like Germanic fantasy. Like it's very much orcs versus dwarves and classic J.R.R. Tolkien.
There we go. That's what I was trying to get at. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very classic, right? And the Tomb Kings didn't fit well, and the Bretonians kind of filled a niche that a lot of people are really upset that they're gone, but they're not necessary because the Empire existed.
So is that one of the reasons why you would think then why you think that we don't have a just straight up a virtual game is because like what you're saying with the starter box it's $90.
So no, I actually kind of adjacented myself off of the points, but no, the game does exist in a virtual way. It is not
because I was gonna say, is it like the Total War Warhammer 3 or like is it those sort of games where it is the turn-based like?
Kind of. I think Total War does it the most justice because CA has put in so much effort into the lore. Like a lot of it's not really canon.
Okay.
But they try to stick close to canon and only dive over when it needs for a certain unit or whatever. And it's also an RTS. It's a strategy game.
Yeah.
It fits the mold very well. But what I mean is a tabletop simulator.
Oh, okay.
Tabletop simulator has all of the Warhammer stuff in it. And it lets you play, any version of Warhammer as is.
So
virtually with your friends.
So it's not something like kind of done by Games Workshop. This is kind of this is like a workaround sort of thing, because
I think so.
Because just me thinking about it, right? Especially in today's day and age with the panorama going on, right? You get Magic. Magic's a big one. It's get together, play Magic. Well, we have Magic arenas. So no matter what, they're still getting something. They're still able to get their money out of it because it's arenas, because it's online. I think I don't know what the money is that they make off of it, but I can only imagine it's something fucking good. Just being a part of it for like the month or two that I've seen it and me wanting to spend money on it. You know,
Yeah.
so like you have that, right? Yu-Gi-Oh
Mhm.
has Duel Links, and there's another one, but I know Duel Links is the main big one because it's on the phone and it's on Steam and it's on all these other things, right?
Yeah, yeah, your Hearthstones and
Right.
passion
So
like
like
that.
a lot of these ones that, well, I mean, Hearthstone's I'm talking more the ones that are
Directly,
more known for
like,
being in person.
okay,
Right, like
okay,
Hearthstone
yeah,
has
yeah,
always
yeah.
kind of been on the phone, but then of course then you get the weird, like it's always on the phone, but then when you have tournaments, then you have to sit across from the person that you're playing. Like it's
Yeah.
like, I think it
The
would
card
be,
game came after the game
I
game.
think it would be funny, and this is just a side thing real quick to want to hit on, is especially a game like Hearthstone, because Hearthstone's a big one that's in like on mobile, on devices, like you play it. I think it would be fucking hilarious if the championship, like the top 10 team, like the top 10 people that play, right, or whatever the final part of the tournament is, you have them
Mhm.
play with real cards. Imagine
No,
that. Fucking like that, it would blow their fucking mind. They wouldn't know what to do. It would add a whole
right.
new dimension to it.
It's it's kind of hard to say. Like, I'm sure a good handful of those guys do, if they're into it enough to be
They
like world
probably
championship. They
right.
probably
They
do have their own
Right,
decks
they're
and
probably
different.
like have self-made their own decks for like just for the fuck of it. But like
Yeah.
imagine that, right? Like imagine this, like it's like you come up, you got your phone, you're ready to fucking play, and then they're like, put your phone in the basket. And it's like what? It's like put your phone in the basket. You put your phone in your basket, and then they hand you like a fucking little deck with your name on it, and like your fucking branding on it, and it's like what is the? And as you open up, you realize like it's your deck, and it's like what the fuck is
What
go?
the fuck?
I have to
What are these
do.
made of cardboard?
Yeah, right. Like you put down the card, and it's like um this card does
Uh,
uh I need 3 gems, but I don't know where the gems. Does anyone have gems?
please.
Right. But no, so like
How do we keep counters?
right, exactly. So like it's I'm finding it interesting seeing some of these companies. It's like Warhammer 40K, Middle Earth Strategy, any one of the side games, any one of the spin-offs, whatever. These are all in-person playing. And in
Yeah.
something like what we have happening, this has to be hitting these companies hard. So I find it interesting to see that like they haven't been like, you know what, because you said what starter decks $90.
I mean,
So why not?
it's a playable force, but I want to say the Get Starting Box has maybe like 500 to 900 points in it,
Right.
and like you can play with any amount of points
Mm-hmm.
realistically, but like most people play at 1,500, 2,000 points.
True.
And that's all laid out in the codexes and whatnot. But
Well,
like,
because I was just saying, like, it's like imagine that, right? Like, so, like, it's, it's like okay, you want to play, but you don't want to travel to places, right? You don't want to,
yeah.
you don't want to do that. So what do? You load up the Games Workshop fucking program, right?
Mhm.
Spend $75 to buy yourself this, And it is interesting. Jackson just said it. They actually boomed because people have time to buy and build and paint and all that, which is something
That's
I never thought of because
incredibly true because
it adds
like a gross amount of the
of the
player base.
time is
Well, yeah, the hobby of it, building and painting and whatnot. But a lot of people are in it just for the hobby part. A lot of people
mhm.
don't even play the game.
That was the big thing for me is that like if I were to get into it, I wasn't gonna play. I just liked the look and the lore and like that sort of thing of it.
Tons of people do that.
Yeah,
It's but yeah, Jax is very on point with that one. Is that
100%. I didn't even think
because
about that. It's a great point.
there's tons of people like me who I have horrible shiny new thing syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
When the new army drops and releases, even if it's not my style, like the most recent release
Mhm.
has been like this whole like swamp orc style.
I was gonna,
Very,
because your Warhammer, like I said, I trend more towards the 40K, and like
well, even
I was looking down the 40K list, and it was like Let me try to fucking find this again. I'm looking at the 40k list because of course they got all the different names of all the different things. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I was like, I'm looking down at it and I'm like, okay, Imperium of Man, yeah, there's the different versions within the men, but Space Marines.
The problem with 40k is they don't put out anything fucking new. It's just
Right.
Space
But like
Marines.
I'm looking and it's like, okay, Chaos, Necrons. I remember when the Necrons were like the new shit. And then I'm like, Eldari, what the fuck? Okay, elves, cool. And then like orcs, Tyranids, and I'm like, what the fuck is Taiyu? And then as I read it's like race of blue-skinned aliens, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
The Tau were
Is this Avatar?
the Tau actually very beloved army. They came out after the Necrons, and they have very cool lore and everything.
I was gonna say just, I mean, so I mean, like, yeah, I mean it's.
But what I was saying is the new stuff comes out and your wallet starts itching.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like I love the orcs as much as the next guy, right? I have an Ironjaw's army, not a big one. But something about them I never gel with on the table, like for actually playing the game.
Yeah.
But every time something new comes out, I'm like, I could start an army.
Yeah.
I could start a ghost army. Like
I get it.
I'm not even into like classic like gothic horror style. Like the vampire armies and the ghost ones, not my play style. Not my aesthetic style.
Yeah.
But the new ghosts came out and I'm like, I could buy them.
That looks kind of cool.
So you have thousands of people who are now locked inside, last year and a half ago or whatever, now locked inside, and they have terrible shiny new thing syndrome, and they have all these unpainted models just hanging out, sitting on their display shelf, half-finished armies, shit like that. So now you got all this time, you're working from home, let's paint a model, fuck it. I'll put these together while I'm in a meeting, like shit like that, and people are actually getting that dopamine hit of completing something.
Yeah,
like, what?
It was.
I have to buy more.
Of course, I was thinking strictly the competitive side of it and the playing side of it, and not the.
Okay. Not the hobby of it.
No, that's where my brain was going when I was saying it. Now that with the way that Jackson worded it and with talking it through, it makes sense that yes, it will have boomed during this time.
I want to say the Tabletop Simulator came out just before the pandemic. So
say it like that.
Imagine they were so lucky. Oh my god!
I will say this is that because of course I say about video games because of course we all play video games. We all this is kind of one of the things that we do, and we always want to see the thing that we like the most be a video game.
Absolutely.
And be a good video game. Let me put that on top of it as well.
That's the hard part.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there's a shit ton of Warhammer video games. However...
Yep.
However...
Yep, there sure is.
Out of all of them that I have seen, Blood Bowl is the best out of all of them.
So, the funny thing about that is I almost agree. Blood Bowl plays the best. It's the most true to the tabletop of Blood Bowl.
I mean, it's just for me. I'm not even thinking about play wise. I'm not even thinking about any of that thing. My thing is just purely the fact of every 2 or 3 years I see Blood Bowl like 2, Blood Bowl 3, Blood Bowl 99, whatever bowl we're on now. But it's like they're fucking updating it. They got new graphics. They got new things going on. And I'm sitting there like, I've seen more Blood Bowls than I have actual games from Games Workshop Warhammer that I think look cool. Because like I'm looking at the list and it's like Total War Warhammer 3. There's the Chaos Bane one, which I saw recently on Xbox that I was going to check out at some point. Vermintide I've seen a couple times, but it doesn't look like a game that I'd be interested in.
Vermintide is, however, heralded as the best Warhammer game right now.
And I will say, like, I've heard you say that, and I think Jagger said it, and I think someone else has said it recently as well.
It's Left 4 Dead in the Warhammer universe.
Well, there we go. I mean, yeah.
You're either into it or you're not. That's basically how it plays out.
And it's interesting because, like I said, of course, I'm on the site, I'm looking around stuff, and I see Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, and it says it's an upcoming first-person action game.
It's
so, of course,
it's Vermintide and 40k.
Okay. Well, I see.
Is what
Yeah, because the
remember.
way that I first saw it as is Warhammer, 40K, upcoming first person. I'm sitting there like, we get a first person fucking shooter out of this thing. Like, let's
Oh
fucking
yeah.
go, right? Like,
Me and my boys are stoked about it.
it's like I said, I've always been drawn to the 40K.
I
I know the
I abs- you that
yeah.
did
I
I
was
lose you?
no no.
Okay.
You started talking. I've cut you off a couple times. I let you go. I was gonna let you go,
Oh,
and then you stopped as well. So, um, yeah. No,
yeah,
go ahead.
I got you. Me?
Yeah,
Do I go?
yeah. You go.
Okay.
You go. I'll
Yeah,
let you go.
I totally get that. I tend to lean harder on the fantasy side.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved 40K for a very long time, and I quit maybe 5 years ago. I still have my armies
Mm.
because I paid money for them, and I don't have the heart to sell them like some other people in the hobby do.
Mm. Well, that's what
Uh,
I can only imagine. Like it's a little bit different than
it's personal. It's
like
very personal.
I was
You
gonna
took
say
the time to paint these your way. These characters, like I know, not everybody does this, but I know every hero model that I get and customize because I'm a touch further in. I like to do like green stuff conversions and make
mm.
shit very
Well, I mean
unique.
that's always the thing with the Space Marines, right? Is that like
Yeah.
even though if I did Space Marines and I did the Space Wolves, you know for a fact I'm gonna be putting pink and black in it. It's still going to be the Space Wolves, but I'm
Yeah.
changing it just a little bit so it fits me personally. And like
Yeah,
that's one of
my
the things I was going to say is that like it's a little bit different than selling like a Magic deck, right? Like a Magic deck, you put the
it's
time
very
in,
different.
you make the cards, you make the deck, you make the strategy, but spending the countless hours painting, the
Oh yeah.
countless hours putting it together, like you said, you do a little bit of a green conversion. For me,
Yeah.
like I said, I would add a touch of pink and black to stuff, right? Like,
Well, no, I don't mean green the color. I mean green stuff like the epoxy.
oh,
Like
okay.
like actual custom like hair and
Well, there we go. I
stuff.
mean, that's a step further than what I
Yeah.
would do. Like that little things that makes it to the point where like, okay, now this is like, it's more than just a
Yeah.
hobby. Like it's
Absolutely. 'Cause
personal. It's a part of you now.
like my Space Wolves army has the most conversion I've done to any of my armies. I specifically bought Norskin Marauders from Fantasy just so they wouldn't wear armor on their arms.
Hmm.
Like I bought custom heads from third parties to
Oh, that's
vary them
awesome.
a little bit.
That's
I
awesome.
painted them I painted them very Gaelic inspired.
Oh,
Like
okay.
their armor is like an olive drab and their paint is like that light like Saxon blue
Okay. Yep.
and it plays very well together. So I didn't have the heart to sell them, but I fell out of love with 40K because they pushed the story further, but they didn't do what they did with fantasy. The end times was this massive, epic, dope thing, and 40K is just kind of like, oh, Abaddon's back and he ripped open a hole in the universe. Like nothing really fucking changed. Just some of the Primarchs showed back up. Like
See,
that's cool,
it would
but
be because I don't
they
know, the story, right?
oh okay yeah
So like I know bits and pieces of it, right? Like I said, because I bought the codexes, I read the codexes, so I know what that's basically what I'm going off of for all of this is the fact of between the ages of 7 and 12, and then me
yeah.
randomly looking at it when I get bored.
I
Um,
got you. Yeah, you're
yeah,
very out of the loop
I'm
then.
very out of the loop. Like so,
I
when you
got
were saying about the end times with Warhammer, it would be cool to see them do something like that with 40K and do
they
something
they should have. They
where
absolutely should have done it already.
it would be interesting to kind of do like okay, like boom, this sort of event happens, and of course I'm thinking mainly Space Marines because that was kind of where I kind of drew to as time went on. But
Right.
like 3 Space Marines survive, and that's it. That's what has to continue. The Space Marines is these 3. They have to go and they have to do this, and just seeing how they transform the Space Marines. You know,
And here's the problem. They almost did that. They with along with the end times, they started doing bigger moments in the 40K lore.
mm,
Like us space Vikings kind of got fucked over a little bit because Magnus came back and he blew up the Fang. Like Fenris is like half glassed in lore right now. Literally all of the space wolves are spacefaring now. They all live on dreadnoughts.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, we lost a lot of characters in that, and that's what I wanted. Like when that story arc was going on, I was full blown Space Wolf hooah. Like, and then it kind of they did the whole Primaris thing, and they doubled down on the Primaris, and they just keep kind of staying with that, and they're not advancing the plot anymore. So like now you have all these loose ends from these big moments, and like, but we're still focused on the fucking Ultramarines. Like, I don't give a shit about Ultramar. Like,
Right. Well, I mean, that's. I think it's kind of the thing with, like you said, is the with Warhammer. It sounded like they got to a point where it was a little bit too much, and they said, "Fuck it, we're doing this
it
event."
got com- it yeah,
Boom.
it got convoluted,
Mm.
and they started fresh.
It would be interesting to see Warhammer 40K do something similar.
I think the reason they don't is because Warhammer 40K encompasses an entire universe. If you get
Mm-hmm.
rid of that universe, where do you fucking go? Like chaos wins. Like
It would be interesting to see. I mean, because like of course I'm just trying to think just from basic stupid knowledge that I have, right?
mm,
So like, what if like you introduce some sort of big bad, but
they kind
it's
of did.
so is it a big bad for everyone though?
Yes, absolutely. They brought Abaddon the Despoiler back,
Okay.
who is kind of the Darth Vader of 40K, basically.
So my thing would be like, okay, what if, and of course this would be the thing that I think would be interesting to do. Just like I said, complete outsider, knowing very little that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Almost have um a peace treaty sort of thing. All of the different things get together. The Necrons, the Ultramarines, the Tyranids, all of them get together, right? We got to take this fucker down because this is spelling bad for everyone. And then kind of do an event based off of that, because then at that point now you could kind of have that be like what we were saying earlier, with each codex is different based off of kind of the side that you're reading. You
Yeah.
could kind of play it off like that, where it's like, the Tyranids, they fucking don't like the Necrons. They don't want to work with the Necrons, but they know that if they want to fucking survive this and they want to win this, they need to work together. But maybe we kill a couple of them while we're doing this, or maybe we let them die, because you know what? If they die and we're still alive, then we win.
So, I'll say that in the lore that's going on right now, they're
Mhm.
kind of doing something like that. So the
Ooh.
Tyranids, instead of, just like being big ass bugs and working with other people, they
Mhm.
they introduced the Gene Stealer cults,
Okay.
which is basically they steal human DNA and make mutants,
Oh.
and they keep making mutants until they look human enough to go into a human world.
Oh.
And they
Shit.
basically make underground hidden nests and infect the world secretly until it's time to pop up and take over. And
That's
so
not terrifying or anything.
it's evolved the Tyranids from the stupid bug hive mind
Mhm.
to this very terrifying infiltration force.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's. Yeah.
So they're kind of working with that. They tried to make Abaddon this big bad, because Abaddon apparently tore a hole in the rift,
Okay.
and it so in current lore the universe is split in half. Like the Eye of Terra is like the one main opening to the warp,
Mhm.
which is where all the demons and shit are,
Okay.
and he tore it across the universe, and there's only a couple ways through it.
Hey.
But then Ro- Robert Gulliman. It's so hard to say his name the right way.
I was gonna say this.
'cause every-
That's one of the other reasons why I love why I love all of this stuff, is because like they just come up with a name and it's like one guy at the office can say it and no one else can. And they're like, yeah, fucking ship it.
well, I think the main issue is his name is Robert Gulliman. It's not a hard name to say, but everybody on the internet calls him Rowboat Girly Man or Paddleboat Lady Dude. Like,
Yes, robot girly man.
yeah, and he's basically taken over because he is one of the fucking 20 something sons of the Emperor, right? And he's
Okay.
one of the only Primarchs who's not fallen to chaos and is back. So he's kind of like basically creating his own empire, and the other Primarchs are starting to show up, and there's like that whole point of contingency, and that's kind of where I fall off of the lore. But it sounded like basically Space Marines were in a bad way, and then some fucking scientist went, "What if we just made Space Marines taller and gave them more wounds?" And that's where 40K is to me, and that's
see, like, because I like that's one of the things that, like, because I was talking with Billy about Star Wars. We were talking about, you know, like, kind of he was saying about I think, if I remember correctly, dear God, I hope I am, because if not, he's gonna
I'm a huge
beat
Star
the shit
Wars
out of me.
fan also.
I think he was talking about Darth Revan, and how he originally was a Jedi, and then he was a Sith, and then he said fuck both of these, and then he became like the power sort of thing.
Easily the most interesting character in all of Star Wars.
And we were talking about how we could make it into a series, and I was saying that it would be interesting to do it as a series where in the first season, like the first season shows him from a Jedi going to the Sith. Second season then could be like Sith going like this, like as the Sith now, and now he's realizing, well, shit, you know, this isn't what I thought it was. And then do a time jump going into like the third season, or even try and put those first two together. But no matter what, one season, do a time jump. So now he is the power that he is. Because the thing that I was saying was with that especially, and it kind of goes, and it kind of will tie into this once I get to my point.
Okay.
Darth Revan is such a powerful character, it feels like. And for him to go against not only the Jedi and the Sith, which are both powerful in their own respectives, right? You have to make everything feel balanced. There has to be a power balance there, right? When you watch Anakin fighting Obi-Wan in Episode 3 in the prequels, like you can see that they're equal. The only reason why why Kenobi wins is because he has the high ground. He tried doing the move on Anakin earlier, but because he didn't have the high ground, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So, like, you can see that. You can see, like, even with, like, Kylo Ren, you can see that there's a power there. So, with someone like that, it's hard to... I felt like when we were talking about it would be hard to make a series based off of it because he is so strong and he is so powerful that you kind of can't make either side look weak against him.
So, I can actually play into that one.
Okay.
Revan is very powerful and not the strongest.
Okay.
His biggest moment is going up against Darth Malak.
Yep, that was the one that...
Who beats the absolute fucking brakes off his ass in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I was...
But, like, that's KOTOR. Like,
yeah. That's why... That was one of the reasons why I said about, you know, kind of like a time jump in that scenario, is because within a time jump, you can have it be one of those things now where you don't even have to show how powerful he is. You can just have it be a word-of-mouth thing. And it becomes this, like, myth, this legend, this, you know, that sort of thing, where,
that does happen. If you've played Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO by BioWare.
I have not, but I've heard about it, and I've watched a bunch of videos on it.
It's a time jump from the original KOTOR games. I don't know, like 100 years or something. I don't think it's very far.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go onto the, not the Sith homeworld, but the second world you go as a bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it's called, but you find a camp of cultists who follow the ways of Revan.
Mm.
Like that's very much there, and I think it's like the Gray Path or something.
Yeah,
I don't fully remember.
I think that's what Billy was saying, was that like he was like the
dude. I would kill a family of fucking penguins for that show. Like,
I think it would be like I said. I think it would be interesting, but like that was my only. I guess problem. It's not even really a problem, but that was my only thing, was that like I wouldn't want to make him feel so powerful that now you make the Jedi and Sith not feel as powerful. And that's why I said, you know, adding a time jump in there, you can add this thing where, like, you know, it's like if you have like a Jedi and his like apprentice, right, and they feel him on the planet, and it's like, we gotta leave.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, why do we have to let, you know?
You
know, and that's the thing, right? You set up this Jedi, so like, you know, it's like he's a side character, but you know, he doesn't fuck around. He is this, he's that. He's, you know, he's the fucking man. And then suddenly in an episode, you see him terrified, and he's like, we have to fucking leave.
Mm-hmm.
And his apprentice, of course, isn't at that point yet, so he doesn't understand. And it's like, no, like you don't, like, we have to fucking leave, like, now.
I
you know
I think the comics showcase that so much better than like any movie ever has,
hmm
because like Revan is terrifyingly powerful, but he's like not even top 5 in the comics.
yeah, that was one of the
And
things we were talking about with as well, was the canon kind of it. But like, so
oh yeah, and don't even get me started
yeah,
on fucking
right.
Disney.
So yeah, here. So okay, so right, so bringing it back around, that would be my only thing with trying to do something like a giant, like almost like a war, or like, trying to take, have everyone team up to take down a big bad, is because no matter what, you're going to have fans of every single one of these races, so you have to make
Absolutely.
them feel powerful in their own regards, in their own sectors. And that would be
Mhm.
my only worry with them trying to do anything like that, is that, like, them, because, like, even if you do the smallest of things, right?
Mhm.
Like, you have a space marine not fucking sacrifice himself, to, for the cause, or something like that. Immediately there would be fucking fans. Well, actually, in Codex 1932, page
Yeah.
43, section 8,
Actually,
right?
and keep in mind that Warhammer is just flooded with those actually neckbeard
Exactly.
types. Like, oh my
It's
god.
like, like, if any of them watch this video, they're probably going to yell at me at some point during this.
They were gonna yell at you no matter what.
Oh, yeah,
You don't know
exactly.
enough lore.
I don't, but like that. So that was my thing, though. Is so, like, like I said, to bring it all back around, is like you would have to kind of almost find a way to make it, like the like, because of course, no matter what, there's always going to be the hierarchy of who's stronger and who's not. No matter
Yeah,
what people are going to say, that's always there in all this stuff. But
just the way it is.
in media, and to make it like an event happen, you kind of have to almost skew those lines at points to make things, kind of feel strong and feel powerful. Because you can't just be like, oh yeah, and then the Tyranids, they go to the elf world and they just kill everything and there's no more elves now.
I
Right,
think
like,
the big issue that they're gonna have, if they're ever gonna do some kind of apocalyptic scale like that for
hmm
Warhammer 40K, is just the sheer scale of everything. Because you have to keep in mind, this is the same universe that has hive worlds that have trillions of humans living on
hmm
them. Like the Cadians are one of the like go-to poster boy Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum, whatever they're fucking called now. They're just regular ass humans,
oh,
and they have a 100% recruitment rate. You are born
I
on Cadia, you are part of the guard, you die a guard.
so random thought. Okay.
Uh,
Random thought. This just popped into my head. What is the? Do we have like the earliest accounts like within the Warhammer 40K universe
the earliest accounts of
lore? So like, of course, 40K in my viewing of 40K means that it's the year 40K.
yeah, that is it's the 41st millennia.
Okay. So now, do
Or
we
I think
have?
it's actually the 42nd millennia right
So
now,
do we
but
have
yeah.
accounts of the earlier generations?
So the way that they did it, which I will give them credit for, the original story starts at 30K,
Okay.
and that's its own game. Also, it's called Warhammer 30K. It's the Horus Heresy.
Oh, okay. I've heard that.
All
I've heard
Yeah,
that
all of
wording.
the
Not the 30K. I've heard the Horus Heresy.
it's the whole story of the Primarchs being created, the things that precursed Space Marines. They were called Thunder Warriors, which were effectively slightly shorter Space Marines that only lived for about 30 years. And the way they played it was anything before those times, the Thunder Warrior, the Emperor times,
hmm
it's all just lost information because of all the war. Like we lost so much information, kind of like what is it, the burning of Alexandria Library?
Yep.
Like how we lost calculus. It's very much played that way.
So what if this could be, and it's almost a cop out, what I'm about to throw out here, but still potentially something that we could do. What if they do some sort of big war, right? Have that shit be wild, Like have like fucking like have like the Necrons like fully wipe out like fucking like 20 planets. Like
That's unreasonable.
have like the Chaos Marines like take out an entire fucking universe of like just everything, right? Like I mean when I say chaos and like wild, I mean like do the most crazy shit that you can think of, you know, right?
Uh-huh.
And then have it set up so that it was all the like everything that we've seen in the 40K has all been not a dream but a vision from some fucking thing back
Wait,
in
hold on.
20K or back in 10K, and that's how you reset.
That that could be cool because that way you could set up so much of the lore that
The
has come
main,
later.
exactly, the main lore is there now. Now all you have to do is find a way to get to it. And now it'd be cool to do because then you can also do twists and turns. You could
Yeah, you
set
can
up an
add new
entire
races that no longer exist.
right? Like I said, it's a cop out because it's coming backwards instead of going forwards.
Yeah.
But what it
It's
allows
so
you,
hard to go forward now,
well,
though.
and that's the thing. What it does as well, like let's say you did this, right? So like we said, 40K has been out for how long has 40K been out for? Since '87,
Yeah, a long time.
right? So let's just say 20. Yeah, it's been 20, 30. Yeah, so it's been 30 plus years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say you go back. Let's say we go 10K, right? Boom, 10K. Right, this is the beginning of us starting to go into space, beginning of all this stuff, you know, and like now you can start kind of slowly getting stuff set up to go into all this different stuff, new races that don't exist anymore, but they existed back then, but they don't, and the information was lost. Let's say you can have that go for another 30 years,
I mean, you
right?
absolutely could. I
So
think
now,
the only problem with it is because of like you're not going to be able to please everybody.
of
Obviously,
course,
it's not a possibility. But there are very old theories because in the old times of Warhammer Fantasy, you could actually field Space Marines because they believe that the old world was a planet inside of the warp, which time doesn't matter in the warp, right? Like
yeah.
that's where Papa Russ is right now, as far as we know.
I mean,
But
shit. I mean, then you could even set up a fucking, and you could set that up in 10K, and you could have that be a part of the whole thing, and you know,
it could be a big part of it, yeah. But with the old world exploding from the end times, right? The reason that all of Age of Sigmar exists is because uh in fantasy they had the winds of magic, right? So every type of magic was under a certain wind.
okay,
So like the lore of heavens, the lore of beasts and shit like that, all of those manifested into a character taking place during the end times, one of the most powerful of such, right? And once it was all over, when those people died or otherwise, those went off and created their own realms, much like how magic has like different planes, like
yep,
planeswalkers and shit. It's very similar to that, which that's why Age of Sigmar is so much better to me, is that it's not one set like Earth-like map. It's you go to
it's
the realm
multiple
of
different.
shadows and everything fucking blows, and you go to the realm of beasts and you're not the apex anymore.
Okay,
And so like, but that also solidifies the fact that Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar by proxy exist within the warp.
true.
So all you have to do is take Abaddon ripping the rift open and just make him expand it some more until everybody's in the warp, and now you don't have to go by the constraints of being in a universe to end.
True.
It also opens up so much more unpredictability. Like demons don't just come out of the Eye of Terra or rifts anymore; they just exist.
Yeah, they're just there.
Like
Okay.
you could get so much, and you could start playing with race introductions. Like for all we fucking know, where the Eye of Terra is, a planet used to exist, and it's in there now, and it's full of like these super dope four-armed fucking reptiles. Like it could be anything. They could go off the wall, but what they're going to do is continue the endless war that all of the like milsim kids are playing,
Okay.
because that's the loudest part of the fan base.
Because see, this is what what I was thinking was, you go back, right? Go
Mhm.
back to the beginning. Then you can introduce races that no longer exist, so you can basically do whatever the fuck you want with that, right?
Yeah.
You can break people's hearts with that, make people fall in love with this race, and then just fucking murder them, in the siege of fucking, whatever the fuck you want, right?
Mhm.
Do all this stuff, right? And let's say, potentially, right? Because who the fuck knows? Let's say potentially you can make it last 30 years. Okay? At that point, you're going to have people our age that are now in their 60s,
Uh-huh.
right? We've now not just expanded over Warhammer, but also Warhammer, Warhammer 40k, Warhammer 10k, whatever the fuck you want to call it, DK.
Sure.
If we're working for Games Workshop, we've had the last 30 years to expand and get ready for what we're going to do after 40k. Because once we catch up to where we're up to, which would what would be the goal of going backwards, would be to catch up to where we are, or where everything kind of started. Now we can move on, and it would
Yeah.
it would allow you to have that 30 years to basically go, okay, we're not playing the short game anymore, guys. We're not playing the year-to-year game. We're not playing this. We're going to have a team that is strictly working on Warhammer 40k while they're working on Warhammer 10k. It's going to be 70-20. It's going to be 70-30. You're going to put 70% of your time into the 10k. You're going to put 30% of your k into this is potentially what we can do with 40k. And what we're going to do is we're going to have just one room that's literally just going to be fucking whiteboards. And it's going to be, this is where we're at. Over here is where we're going to start at now. Here's all the ideas that we can do for when we come back, and we start 50k.
I mean,
And you make it this thing where it's because think about that as well. For people who like play and their kids play, and like it's a family thing, or that sort of thing, or it's a hobby. It's
tons of that.
it now becomes that thing where it's like Dad, how come you don't play 40k anymore? Well, son, you see, 40k doesn't exist anymore. Fast forward 20 years.
Yep.
You fucking call up your old man. Dad, you're never going to fucking guess what just happened. Huh? They're bringing back 40k. They're doing what?
I'll get my wolves.
Right? Just imagine that shit, bro. But like, it would be the biggest, like, we're thinking long term in like that you could do. Right? Because you're literally saying we're going to, because right now, because from the sounds of it, to me, it sounds fucking boring. It sounds like they don't have an idea, so they just brought back some big bad, and then they're just kind of fucking with shit. Like, what if we
very much following the formula right now.
Like, what if we make the genetically engineered space marines bigger?
Yeah,
Bum
that's
bum
what
bum.
they did.
Like, congratulations, great idea. Nobody's had that idea in the history of ideas.
I think the worst part about it is the Primaris models themselves look so much better than regular Space Marines. Like they're so much because their scale, like they're still 28 heroic millimeter, right?
Okay.
But the Primaris look like on table exactly what you imagine Space Marines should look like.
Oh, okay.
And the regular Space Marines look like fucking humans in oversized armor.
That's fucking funny.
So it's probably why they're pushing it. Like me and my buddies said, as soon as Primaris started getting released, it's like, oh, the old Space Marine models are getting phased out.
Mm-hmm.
And it still feels that way because the lore for the Primaris was really weak, in my opinion. And so I feel like it could just be them placeholding.
Like I said, complete fucking noob to an extent. As you can tell, I can basically base walk around some of this stuff, right?
Yeah, you can hold your own on it for sure.
But like something like that is I always love shit like that where it's like when they want to change shit up, it's not a small change up, they just go fucking like, all right, cool, bet. Guess what? Everything that the last 30 years have been has just been a vision of this one seer. It's the 10th generation. It's the 10th. It's the 10th decade now.
And the worst part about it is they have lore set up for that. The Aldari, the Eldar, they straight up told the Emperor, like, look, you can't win because Chaos still wins if you win. Like
Well, like
that's already a thing.
and I'm reading right here. The Imperium of Man is an authoritarian man empire that comprises approximately 1 million worlds and has existed for over 100,000 years.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that goes back to 30K, which you were saying was the beginning of, kind of what they were doing, and everything before that was lost, right? So, go 10,000 years before that, make it 20K. So now there is no longer the Imperium of Man. So what was it? It was sections of man. It was, different divisions of man. It wasn't just one. It was, and like, you can start with that and have that be the base of where you go, and then it's like, okay, well, now they found out that there's, this, or there's that, or there's this and that. Like you said,
I think you could just do so much more interesting shit with it too, because in current 40K right now in the lore, these worlds that are inhabited by the Imperium of Man, right? Some of them jump in between like hardcore post-apocalyptic like gang warfare is the whole universe there. Like the whole world is gang wars. Like that's the whole point of what is it, Underworlds, the whole ganger conflict.
Okay.
That's what goes on subsurface of hive levels, right? And basically hive worlds are cities that encompass the entire planet, and they can't build up anymore, so they built down.
Oh, okay.
So like some of those worlds are like super fucking post-apocalyptic urban crime warfare, and some of them are feudal worlds. Some of these people don't even have electricity. Like some of them are still knights in armor and shit.
Jesus.
And because they choose to live that way, like, and that because like that's the Dark Angels chapter.
Oh, yeah.
They're feudal knights and shit.
See, like I think that would be interesting to see, because like you can basically have the pre-origins of these different sectors.
Yeah, you could set up all of the story you already have and make it make better sense.
And that's the thing, right? You can basically just solidify stuff, but then also you can introduce new stuff and like we said, introduce it, have it around for a couple years, kill that shit off. Because that would then also add a level of suspense, and also imagine how much that would change the game itself up playing it, right? Like, sure. Like, of course, you would have so many people that would get so fucking mad though if you did that.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean,
you're always gonna get that,
but, right? Well, like you just said, you're always gonna get that, right? So then what you do, right, is this: make it very fucking simple. Okay, let's say we introduce a race of Nessies, because I'm looking at George right now. Okay, so it's like a half Nessie, half human, half robot fucking thing, right? Okay, you have that shit for like 10 years, and then you just fucking murder the entire thing. The whole planet blows up. All of them are dead, right? And then of course you're gonna have people that have been playing. They're diehard. That's their thing. They play Nessie, and you look at them and you go, okay, cool. Hey, look, we get it. That's what you do. That you play Nessie. Okay, that's why what we're introducing is we're going to introduce Warhammer Infinite. And they're gonna go, okay, what's Warhammer Infinite? And he goes, okay,
Buzzword.
So right, so we have you have your Nessie army, right? Yeah, okay. So the Skravens. Do the Skravens still exist in Age of Sigmar?
Skaven, the rat.
Yeah.
Okay. They're a huge favorite.
What's one that didn't exist? Didn't make it over?
Bretonians.
Okay, there we go. Right. So okay. So George over there, right? Bretonians. You want to play him? Guy would look at you fucking confused, be like, but that's Warhammer Fantasy, and this is Warhammer 20K. And you go, no. This is Warhammer Infinite. Anything can play anything here.
Fucking Legacy.
Think about that. That would fucking blow people's brains, because now at that point, then you can now literally just be like you can introduce stuff and then kill it within years and still have people playing it and buying it and wanting to be a part of it because it was something cool and different.
No, you're absolutely right. That would definitely work. But what I'd say is, before you kill off anything major, you would have to introduce Legacy.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Because
the
fan base is very volatile. The moment you kill off their shit, they're gonna sell them and boycott you.
That's the thing, right? Is like I would do it, and the first time I did it, I would set it up as like this is the biggest event that we have ever done. This is the biggest event that we have ever done. Whatever you do not want to be against us for the next month. and you like almost word it like that. You want to be on our side. You want to be like we are for Games Workshop, and you make it like that, and then you kill them, and you don't say anything. You don't
Now,
release anything.
What I
You
will
just
say is they have something called the rumor engine,
okay.
where Games Workshop basically drip feeds teasers and hype stuff for new things. They already have the platform to hype you like that.
Oh yeah. So, but this is the thing, right? So I would kill off an entire thing. I would make this giant event, and you make it into a book. You make it into a fucking, if you can, make it into a CGI fucking story sort of thing, right? You go all out.
They do have Warhammer TV coming,
right? That's the thing, right? I just saw that, right? So you do this massive event, and you kill off this thing that you've had now for 10 years. It's a brand new thing people love. You kill them off, and then you go silent. The only thing you do beforehand, though, is you tell people, ride with us for a month. For the next month, ride with us. Don't
honestly,
and then you go silent, right?
If it's only going to be a short amount of time like that, let the controversy boom.
And that's the thing. You let the community fucking go nuts at this point. Because imagine that as well. Imagine you kill off an entire thing, and then as a company, you go quiet.
People are still bitching about Bretonians, and the end times was 5 years ago. Like,
right? So think about that. You go quiet. You go dead quiet. You don't tell the people that work at Games Workshop what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then out of nowhere, then it's like you do it literally like a month later from the date that you killed everything and you did the big hype, the big event. All this stuff dies. You do the new event a month later, and then you come out and you go, Bretonians. We have Bretonians in the house. We have Nessies in the house. We have, and you just go through all these things that now are either dead, don't exist, or people don't play them anymore, that sort of thing. And you go, awesome. We love how much the fan base, we love the fan bases for this. We love how much you guys are employed on these things. And because of you, we are now releasing this.
So, hilariously enough, what you just described is what they did with Fantasy. They started Age of Sigmar. They got that up and rolling, got some new armies out, some new prints, things to make the people who aren't mad hype.
Mm-hmm.
And a few months into that, they said, hey, 2022, Warhammer Fantasy's coming back.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Now, probably a response to the outrage, because a lot of people didn't like how simplified AOS made Fantasy, because Fantasy was very convoluted,
fair,
very strategic. It's definitely for a particular type of gamer.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they did it was genius. They're basically starting from scratch with Fantasy to make it less convoluted, but still that strategic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing in some fan favorites that never had a model range. Like their big hype, their big teaser when they talked about it were fucking Kislev Bear Riders. And I'm aware that you're not going to know who that is, but Kislev is like the Slav north of the Empire. They're super like Husky trench coat, like Industrial Revolution Russia style. And they have like bear riders and like the Ice Queen, and like they have rich, dope lore, but they never got represented on table without people forcing them in with conversions.
Jesus.
So their first hype was Warhammer Fantasy 2022, and it's just a silhouette of a dude on a bear, unmistakably.
See, because like I'll do similar. Like I said, I'll do similar, but like I would make it so it's cross everything. So of course I know that would create all sorts of fucking rule breaks and that sort of thing. But
we're theory crafting.
But that's for the big brains to think about. I'm thinking about the hype and because like think about that, right? Think about you announce that you just announce like I said, you kill a fucking whole thing. You don't say anything for a month, then you come back and you go, okay, you guys have ridden with us for the month. We've heard you loud and clear. But now we want you guys to hear us loud and clear, and the only way we can do that is with this. and you should fucking show like this like movie quality, like World of Warcraft quality fucking cinematic, right? So have like
And they've proven that they can do that.
right, have the Britannians, right? They're fucking like charging into battle, and what are they charging against? An army of half robot, half human Nessies. Right, like that's on the other side. Because immediately then at that point now you have people losing their fucking minds in the crowd, right? And then what do you have? Then out of nowhere you have like a fucking horn go off, fucking, and then it's like they both sides of the army stop and they look up, and at the top of the fucking hill is there's a Rohan. And they fucking come down, right? And then immediately at that point, that's when you announce. You know, that's when right before all three of them fucking converge, right? It just fucking pans up, and all you see is Warhammer Infinite. Yeah. And then it's immediately all you say is, you guys want to run Nazgul? You guys want to play against Necrons? You guys want to play against the Skraven? You guys want to play against the half Nessies? You can.
That would
in Halo, well, yeah, I almost said in Halo Infinite. In Warhammer Infinite. There you go.
That would be super dope, but a balancing fucking nightmare.
Oh, of course it would be. But like, I would make it like I would find a way to do it, and just like it's like the simplest way possible to balance stuff, and that's how you do it. I mean, of course, like I said, like it would take a fucking team to figure that shit out, because they would have to go across every single thing that's ever been done to fucking make it balanced.
Oh yeah, it's almost impossible.
Oh, right.
It would be insanely cool.
It would be an event that would, because of course you would have people that like, it's the same thing with the, like, in my opinion, it's the same thing when Commander came out. Commander came out for Magic, and I said that's stupid. I was like, that is the dumbest fucking thing on the face of the earth. One of my like really good friends, Bubba Black Ops. He used to stream. He doesn't really stream that much anymore. But he loves fucking Commander. That's his whole thing now. Is he does Commander. He runs Commander.
As soon as I learned about Commander, next thing I knew, all of my decks were Commander, and I stopped playing 60 card.
Now imagine that, right? You now have fucking people that are doing nothing but playing fucking Warhammer Infinite. Why? Because they want to see what happens when an army of Skraven take on the Tyranids.
God, that'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Actually, you know what? With the rule base now, the AOS being so mirrored to 40k, not bad. It's not bad. The numbers are already aligned. The 40k still plays a smidgen different, but
look, Games Workshop. I'm just saying, you don't have to give me anything big for this idea.
Yeah, but I'll take my check by the end of the month.
I mean, like, either a check or just like write me in as a character and like give me my own model or something. I'm just saying, like, you know, maybe there was a very extinct line of Husky based fucking Space Marines. I don't know. Who knows?
All you got to do is convert a Ogren.
I'm just saying, but not like, right, like something like that is just like, because I mean it's. I think about like Apex Legends, right? When you think about it lore-wise, right? Mm-hmm. It's in the Titanfall universe, but it's a completely different fucking animal. And then you saw, I mean, you may have saw, I don't know how much you're into Apex and Titanfall, but when they released... I
never got to play Titanfall.
So when they released Season 9, Legacy, and they released Valkyrie, and they announced that Valkyrie was Viper's daughter...
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest connection we've had now between the two things. We've had different connections, but that one for one connected Apex to Titanfall 2. One for one. Because now we have literally a legacy. We have a character who's the daughter of a true Apex predator that died. As soon as that happened, it fucking blew up. Like, I've been doing Apex videos since Season 4. I have never gotten a reaction on a video like I did until that one happened. And that's because it connected the two universes, and it made a giant hype thing for people of Titanfall that were Titanfall fans that, like, yeah, they understood that Apex was in the Titanfall universe. Like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's not Titanfall. Yeah. We want Titanfall 3, like that sort of thing. But as soon as that happened, those people started fucking coming back. Or, like, came into it. They started fucking looking into it. They were intrigued now. Because they straight up locked it all in. Now, if you did something like that with this, lock that bitch in, boom.
I mean, you're absolutely not wrong, because like Age of Sigmar was hugely pushed back upon by classic players until the lore started coming in and old favorites started coming back, because not all of the big heroes from fantasy died. Some of them made their way back to the field.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you start making those tie-ins in this new world, all of a sudden you basically have a new series on your hands. It's like, it's kind of like what they tried to do with The Hobbit. You know how they kind of like superimposed Legolas into that story, even though he's not supposed to. It's kind of like that, except it fits way better.
Yeah.
Like, Archeon's still at large, but now there are other big players, and because it's more than just one planet, he doesn't have the traction that he used to. Like, and you get all these favorites, and like some of the old characters ascended to godhood. One of the most favorite characters of the dwarves is now like the god of metal. Like,
Jesus.
And he hangs out with Sigmar because Sigmar has always technically existed, right?
Okay.
He's the god of man.
I like events like that. I think are game changing to a point where it completely can change a franchise almost.
Completely, absolutely.
Because I'm looking now because I actually wanted to see for myself. So Apex does stories from the Outlands, and it's their way of telling the stories of what's happening, right? So, just looking at views, okay? April 2nd, 2020, 430 views. April 30th, 100 views. August 11th, 200 views. October, 900. December, 900. January, 132. Kind of see the...
Yeah, there's a trend.
Right? April 19th, Stories from the Outlands. It's the one where they do Viper's Daughter. 5,500 views.
Shit. Yup.
The most recent season one, 300 views.
That's all over the place.
Right? So, but you can see where when the big lore happened, and they've officially connected it.
Searching.
That's when they officially connect to one giant thing with something that's kind of, that's, hey, this is in the universe, but it's not in the universe, but it is in the universe, but it's not. We're going to show you some characters, and we're going to show you some things, so it does connect, but it doesn't connect. And then out of nowhere you go, oh, by the way, connects.
Yeah.
It hits.
Every fanboy went, oh!
Exactly, because now what you can have is you can have the people like you said, you're more of a Warhammer fan. When I was the little that I was into it was a 40K fan. We can literally now go, okay, my Space Marines versus your fucking whatever the fuck, your dwarfs.
Yeah.
Right? And the best part is like we can do it, and they can have tournaments of this shit, and they can have actual games of this shit, and it's not just a like we have to make up our own rules. No, there's rules there now. Right? Like, I don't know. That's complete outsider.
It's a very interesting idea. Whether they could make it competitive or not is a totally different range of questions.
Of course. I mean, complete outsider just saying random shit, I think that would be cool to see.
It could be very cool. I think they'd have a hell of a time getting Lord of the Rings in on it, because
even if you don't get Lord of the Rings on it, you still have two massive franchises, and especially like I said, if you did this going back to 20K or 10K or whatever it is, at that point now it's fine if you don't have Lord of the Rings. It's like, okay, cool, we're not going to include Lord of the Rings. Hey, developmental, we need you guys to come up with something that's kind of like the Riders of Rohan, but it's not the Riders of Rohan, but it's kind of like the Riders of Rohan, but it's in this universe, so it can be unlike, you know what I mean?
I don't even think they would have to, because like once Age of Sigmar got up and running, they have been pumping out new interesting armies that aren't like they don't follow the classic RPG rules. Like, they still kind of hold to a formula. If you knew the lore, it would be easier to explain. But like, they're making more interesting and diverse armies, and like where we used to have, the list of fantasy ones that you listed off. What was that, like 12?
Yeah.
I think we're now closer to like 20.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, and like some of them are fully fleshed out, some of them are a little lacking. Let's be real, but they're diversifying, at least when it comes to Age of Sigmar, and that's because they opened up all that space. But Just to tie it all back in with your Infinite idea, like all it would take is some of your main players from 40k to go into the warp, and bam, like that's it. Because it's everything but guaranteed that Age of Sigmar is within the warp now,
Yeah,
because it exists in like a interdimensional situation.
like I said, I don't need a paycheck or anything. I just like just make me a dude in the thing with the
Yeah,
peeps.
just give me a shout out character.
Yeah, right. I mean, like
Make me the new Bugman.
exactly right. I mean, I'm telling you right now, half Nessie, half human, half robot dudes. Like, just saying.
The problem, it's funny you say that because my biggest issue with 40k is how not diversified that shit is. You give me a Nessie robot, I'm in.
Well, I mean, like, and think about that, right? So, because you said, I mean, like, I feel like it's one of those things that because it was 40k, because it's in the future, and they had their base set things, right? Like, they had the different versions of the elves, the two different elves. They had, the Space Marines, you had the Chaos, the Chaos Marines. You had these base ones. If you tried to do anything really new, like, okay, so they did the Tyranids. The Tyranids are like the aliens. And it's like, okay, so what would fit in this sort of futuristic world that isn't like this? It's like, okay, well, there's the Necrons, it's like, so I feel like they almost painted themselves into a wall, and going backwards would allow them to open up and be able to, like, they'd be able to kill these things.
Did. They absolutely did, because the Necrons came about because of some very interesting writing that some dead barren worlds started getting mined out, and guess what? The Tomb Kings were asleep underground the whole time. And with the Tau, the Tau were as of like 3,000 years ago in lore, when the Imperium of Man encountered them, they were primitive and just figured out fire.
Mm-hmm.
And then something happened that they are leaving up in the air, because why bother explaining it, I guess. The Tau are the most advanced race in the universe.
See,
and then they took over their system, and now they have their own empire, so they are the Tau are definitely the most interesting to me, even though they're not quite my style.
Mm-hmm.
But now what? Like, how do you introduce a new race with such interesting ideas for those three?
And that's what I'm saying. Is like, if you go backwards, it's very easy to do that, because then you can kill them off. And now let's say this, right? Let's say you do make a race. Let's say the Nessie race that we've been talking about this whole time, right? You make them, okay? You kill them off. You kill off the whole fucking thing. And then, like, a year or two goes by, this, that. And like you're saying, right? The Tau just kind of, they were, primitive. They didn't have this. They didn't have that. They, and then they just, out of nowhere, shit just started to click. Well,
yeah.
What if all of the Nessies didn't die? And there was one that got away. And the Nessies were actually super fucking smart.
Wicked fucking smart?
They were wicked fucking smart, and they all have Boston accents, right?
Fucking Tom Brady and the Patriots, God's chosen team?
Yeah. You guys don't know what football is? Where's the closest Dunkin' fucking Donuts? Right? But, like, so you have, you have this, this dead thing that, that you've now done in 10-20k. You killed them off, fully done it there. Everything's done. But then you do leave out this thing of, it's like, well, they're, some of them got away. And they made their way to the Tau planet after, the humans had gotten there and saw that they were primitive and said, oh, well, fuck these guys, we're going to leave them alone. And then these are the reasons why they are the way they are now.
Husky, I gotta call you bluff right now, my guy, because that is way too in line with the current lore. Because the Tau are such a small empire, like by definition of the rest of it, the Tau are the most. They are the most likely to use mercenaries.
Okay.
Like, in their home universe, they live on, like, I don't know, fucking whatever the planet's called, and
Boston.
then just in the same Boston. Yeah, they live in Boston. And just the next solar ring out of orbiting whatever their solar is a planet called Peck, which is where the Kroot live. And they basically liberated them, and the Kroot fight for them as like these badass, like, primitive hunter type deals. And then a couple of planets away, they got the Vespoids, which are like these bug folk. And they all are a part, because the Tau are all like super communist. so they're all working for like the greater good type of ideal. So they got both of these races to join their cause.
Jesus.
So them learning technology from a different race sets that all up.
I mean, I'm just saying. Didn't know any of this. I'm. Apparently, I should be doing this for some sort of fucking living, I guess, right now. Because I
Should have
mean,
kept your ass in England, my guy.
I
You had a
guess.
future.
Fuck me, right? No, instead, I'm a fat guy on Twitch. But no, I mean that's my okay. So to wrap this all up, right?
Oh yeah, I guess we
Okay.
have for a bit, huh?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Bro, this happens sometimes, man. But okay.
Sometimes it gels.
Well, no, that's the thing, right? Is especially like with me, I've always been one that I like the different ideas and just kind of brainstorming shit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've been on Twitter and everything else on my main monitor while we've been doing this. But someone put up something recently. Let me see if I can find this real quick. So it says Idris Elba wants to face off with Superman in a prequel to the Suicide Squad. Why did he shoot Superman? I would love to see that, right? So of course I see that, and that's always been my question as well. Ever since they announced that, Bloodshot put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
Right.
Always been my, immediately I'm like, that's a thing. So my response to that though is, why not have it be the opening act of a new Superman movie?
Why not?
Have it be very similar and set in style of the Krypton scene, which was like the first 20 to 30 minutes of Man of Steel, or the scene of Batfleck running into Metropolis, showing the fight between Zod and Superman from Batman's perspective. Why not have it be something like that? Like, this sets up the Man of Tomorrow movie at the very beginning of it. The very beginning of it is whoever the big bad is. Like, let's say you bring back Jesse Eisenberg, you do Luthor, trying to, take over, be president, or, you do Brainiac.
Right?
Well, I mean, the other one is Brainiac that a lot of people have said, which, I mean, that one would even work too. But, like,
I don't think that many people want to see Brainiac. Let's be real.
it would be interesting to see. I mean, I would love to see. I would love to.
Darkseid and Doom. And fuck, come on, brain, work with me here.
We had Doomsday and
Doomsday.
we had Doomsday and BVS, and that Doomsday isn't even the true Doomsday. The true Doomsday is still out there.
The good one.
Well, so that's the thing,
Yo,
right?
bring in Lobo. Fuck it.
Well, like, so there's so many different things you can do with it, right? But setting that up as the very beginning of it sets up a 20-minute segment of the movie that connects two movies together. It brings back Idris Elba, who I think was arguably the best part of the entire Suicide Squad movie. I'm gonna be talking about that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not gonna say anything. I will be talking about that.
I'm a huge Idris Elba stan.
So here, I will say this. I will say this right now. Nice little shout out for Comic Relief right here. I'll be talking about the Suicide Squad movie on Comic Relief this Tuesday on YouTube. I think it's at
check out Comic Relief
8
on the
p.m.?
Box Network, my guys.
Idris Elba, in my opinion, was the best part of the movie. His character is very unique. It's a very cool character. I really enjoyed his role and the way they did it. There's some things that I would have changed, but that's kind of... I can almost say that about every fucking movie I've seen, But just that idea, though, like, yeah. So we don't need a prequel movie or series or anything to that. We need the new we need the new Man of Tomorrow movie, which we should have had fucking years ago. But but Warner Brothers decided to fuck everything up instead of just letting Zack do what Zack was going to do.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, bring back Zack, have him do Man of Tomorrow, and have that be the opening 20 fucking minutes of the movie. Because, dear God, could you imagine how that would look? Zack Snyder shooting that, and you could have it be multiple different ways done, right? He snipes him. It's an actual, like, combat fight, and then Idris finally, says, fuck it, boom, here, dead.
Yeah. You know what? I'm done with this.
Yeah, right? Like, you could have it play out so many different fucking ways. I mean... And it would be an interesting setup for the movie as well, because then at that point, right, you set up Man of Tomorrow. Okay, boom, there we go. That sets up the beginning of the movie. So now Superman's dead, or Superman's in the ICU, because that's the way they word it, right? Superman's in the ICU. Well, he just came back from being fucking dead. Now he's back in the ICU. Well, maybe now. I mean, maybe now the idea of Superman being the Man of Steel isn't true. Maybe he isn't all that everyone thinks he's cracked up to be.
Oh, are you thinking about setting up like regime?
I mean, I'm just thinking of setting up basically anything. Because think about what I just said, and now have that be Lex Luthor saying it.
Yeah, I mean, but
He
that also
can't. He can't save us.
that's a short fucking walk from the regime storyline, which in my opinion is very interesting.
I'm like, because I think that that would be an interesting setup for the movie because now you have Superman. Not only he's back from being dead, he's being Superman. He's trying to find that balance between Clark and Superman, and being a god and everything. But now you also have him set up as this thing of like, can I really beat these people? Because Bats is the only one that I know that has kryptonite. So how did Bloodsport get it?
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
If he has it, then
why?
right, if he has it, then who else has it? Am I really that safe? Should I really be doing this? Do they really need me? And you can have all of that play as a secondary kind of thing in there, because that's always been my biggest thing that I've liked about Superman. And I fucking hate Superman as a character.
Yeah.
But that's always my biggest thing that I like about him is the fact that he's trying to be human. And that's always kind of the thing that he's fighting is like the fact that like yeah, he can literally just fucking fly.
Yeah.
Like,
he can just go into space.
Exactly.
Bye.
He can be like he can literally be like, Lois, what do you want to eat tonight? I kind of want Greek.
Right.
Cool. Grabs her hand and flies her to fucking Greece, right? Like, yeah. And as Escobar just said, the actor who plays Superman, yes, Henry Cavill is Superman. He's Superman. Like so I think
he fits the bill perfectly.
It would be interesting. It would be cool to see this because you can do that. And I've still been a fan of, and of course I feel bad. Sorry everyone for me taking this DC, but here we are. So I've been a fan of Zack Snyder. I love the Zack Snyder version of the Justice League movie, right? And one of the things we found out recently was that James Gunn wanted to do a Suicide Squad versus Superman movie.
Really?
Now, as everyone knows, we're actually getting a video game on that. And the video game is Brainiac is basically controlling Superman and the rest of the Justice League. So the video game is going to be called Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. So...
Taking one out of Marvel's book on that one.
Yeah, but it's a video game, so it's actually going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. But no, so here's my thing though, right? So okay, so you have that idea. In the Snyder Cut, we know Superman turns evil eventually because of Lois dying and Lois having the baby and Darkseid, fucking basically turning him.
Mm-hmm.
What if in the Nightmare timeline Bats gets kind of control of the Suicide Squad along with Waller, because everyone needs to be working together now to take down Supes and Darkseid. And what if Batman gets together a team for Suicide Squad and they go to try to take down Superman?
Now, I'll say this. I am very into that idea because I'll preface this with I am not a huge DC fan. I'm very much a Marvel boy.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that has always appealed to me with DC is the fringe characters, your mercenaries, your blood sports, your dead shots, the Suicide Squad. Red Hood is one of my favorite heroes of all time. I love the fringe characters and the fringe storylines.
Because at that point now as well, like that's no longer just good versus evil. This is bad versus bad.
Yeah, you start getting into the anti-hero, like bad guys doing good things. You get moral dilemma.
And you could, because no matter what, at the end of that movie, you kind of gotta know that the Suicide Squad's losing that.
I mean,
so
it's a name.
So going into it, right? But just thinking about it, right? So let's say right now, okay. So you get King Shark, you have Deadshot, or you have Bloodsport. You bring back Deadshot, right, with Will Smith. So now you have Idris Elba, Will Smith, right? You have King Shark. You get some of these other members of Suicide Squad. You get Harley in there because we know that Harley dies, and we know that Zack wanted to film Harley dying, and Harley dies in Batman's arms.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be an ending to the fucking movie right there. Because Jesus Christ, you want to talk about an emotional end to a movie?
For sure.
If you did that in the Nightmare timeline, right? It's like, so you set all this up. Like, imagine that fight almost at the end of the movie of Idris Elba's Bloodsport, Deadshot, King Shark, all these different characters fighting off parademons and then trying to fight Superman and failing.
Yeah, that's because that is a hike.
Like that would be such an that would be an emotional visual story ride for an end of a movie. Because like, talk about like a true Suicide Squad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
you're going up against the strongest person on the planet.
Also, keep in mind, if you've read the Suicide Squad comic books, most of them don't actually fucking make it.
Yeah. So
I
like,
think Deadshot's the only. He's the leader because he keeps living.
Boomer does make it a lot as well, but like that's like,
It's because he keeps getting away.
yeah, exactly. But like that's the thing, right? So like you can have it set up so it's one of those things where like you can even have it set up so like the end of the movie is like, you know, a bomb goes off and the bomb has kryptonite in it and we think it kills Superman, and then it's like, you know, fucking the insurgency of Batman and Deathstroke and all those guys that we see in the end of the Snyder Cut, right? They'll come in and that's when they find Harley. Everyone's dead. Harley is dying, and she dies in Batman's arm, and that's when you get that emotional scene. You get it. They leave, and it's kind of, the ending is kind of, you know, it's like, well, we did it, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, but like,
And then you
ball in it, but at what cost?
exactly, you know, it's like you do
Yeah.
that, but then you have it set up as a scene where it's like, you know, Superman waking up and him fucking screaming or whatever, and there's Desaad pulling out the fucking pieces of kryptonite out of him because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
and then, like that's how you have the ending, like the final ending of the movie is them finding out, like, you know, they send the Suicide Squad in to do one final Suicide Squad act, and
It was suicide.
it didn't work.
Yeah.
So
And
now,
just think about the visual marvel of the lead up to that, though.
Well,
If
and
you plan on killing off all these characters, you could have one of those epic, like Avenger level, like fight scenes
Mhm.
where they lose, like, and everybody could get their screen time.
when
And,
it's one of those things. So at the end of the Snyder Cut, we get a nightmare sequence. Because the thing has always been there was the nightmare sequence. The nightmare sequence is what if Superman turns bad? Because that is always, no matter what, I don't care who you are, that's always an interesting fucking ploy, especially with a character that good.
it always will be.
So at the end of the movie, you get this ragtag group of people, and it's Cyborg, Bats, Deathstroke, Joker, Mira, and Flash. Right? And Darkseid ship comes over, and then they're like, okay, clear, we're good. The parademons go off, and they're all walking by, and Mira's like, you know, it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill him for what he did to Arthur. You know, like that sort of thing. And
Right.
like there's all these different interactions, and then, you know, Batman has this interaction, and if anyone out there hasn't seen it, I highly suggest watching it on YouTube. Either right now, pause this, go watch it, or just if you know what I'm talking about, then you know. They have arguably the best scene in any DC movie of Batfleck talking with Jared Leto's Joker, and it is intense. There is history. There is like the connection between the two actors, and that being the first time they've ever been on screen together, is terrifying. I don't know if you've seen it or not, and if you haven't, I'll send it to you after.
I have not seen the Snyder Cut.
So at the end of it, Joker and Bats
I'm always
talk,
behind on movies.
and Joker hits Batman with like kind of like, you know, here's my Joker playing card. As long as you have this, there's a truce between us, you know, because hey, it's the post-apocalyptic world, you know. It's like you need me because you fucking did this, you know. But then he says to Batman, he goes, you know, it's like, you know, what sort of person would send a boy to do a man's job? And that's when Batman hits him with the, you know, it's like, you know, when I held Harley dying in my arms, she pleaded with me that I would kill you. And when I do fucking kill you, like that sort of thing. And like he's like, like Batman says, like, and I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like, I'm not like exaggerating it and saying it like I would. He says that in the movie. He says, I will fucking kill you.
That's
I'm gonna
dope.
make it slow. I'm gonna make it like that sort of thing, and it is the greatest fucking thing because the tension that is there in that moment for them being on the screen for the first time ever. It's
It's that heated.
it's one of those things where it's like you would have sworn that you've seen this 3 or 4 times now.
Mm.
So that happens, and then Batman's talking with Deathstroke, and Deathstroke's being played by Joe Manganiello.
Manganiello, yeah.
Yep. And he's like, did you really have to fucking bring him? And he's like, kind of fucking had to. And then in the background, Superman lands,
Oof.
and the insurgency kind of like looks, and it's like, oh shit, and then Superman looks up, and his eyes light up, and that's the end of the movie.
That's the setup. You got another movie after that.
Well, right. So that was the setup to Justice League 2, and the thing that most DC fans think is that isn't Superman, that's Martian Manhunter.
Uh,
Because that would set up a lot of what he was saying, and also he's supposedly still alive during the nightmare sequence, so it would give
Yeah.
them kind of a way to get in and out of, kind of Darkseid's palace and know what's going on. So you could set it up so, like I said, Suicide Squad goes to kill Superman. All of that's supposed to fucking happen. And it doesn't work. And at the end of the Snyder Cut, they're walking to go. Like, they're basically going to go do the final act of, like, this is our time. We're going to go get Superman and we're going to kill him. Like, we're going to end this sort of thing. That could be the setup in that movie to that sequence. And you could literally have the ending of the movie after the credits replay the ending of the Snyder Cut and just have that sequence play out. Because that's the ending. Like, that's what comes next.
that would be perfect. It pretty much solidifies the fact that Soups ain't dead and the Suicide Squad failed.
Right, because and that point as well, because so like, if you did do it with Martian, because you also get a second and like he's up, right? We see Superman wake up, and we know he's not dead, right?
Uh-huh.
But if it is Martian Manhunter that is Superman, in that sequence that I'm talking about, then like no matter what, it's gonna leave us like like a giant cliffhanger. But then if they set it up in the next one, then it's like it's like he comes out of it, and it's like he's not dead.
And also keep in mind that would do so much justice for Martian Manhunter because he has had so little representation in the new DC films, and he's a fucking badass, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Well,
Martian Manhunter's insane in the comics.
And,
like,
and it's funny because it's one of those things that with them setting him up as General, I can't remember his freaking name because they always change it for everything, but with them setting him up as the General in Man of Steel, it completely changes the way you watch the movie.
yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a part where like he's like Superman's looking through the window and Martian Manhunter is looking at him, and it's one of those things where it's like it's almost like and it's like I see you in there or something like that.
Right.
You can see his character kind of get a little bit squirmish for a second because it's like, does he fucking does he see me or does like is he just saying that, like that sort of thing, so but yeah, no, so like just like I was saying about random shit that just kind of like thinking about stuff and everything, like that was what I just thought of. Like I said, this was from like when we like 2 hours ago I tweeted that, and since then that's been running through in the back of my brain as like an idea that they could do. And just think about that. I mean, that's just it's an insane fucking movie.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'd pay money to watch that. But in my own defense, I am a huge fan of like the anti-ending. Like say what you want, love them or hate them, the prequels or the originals of Star Wars, right? There's a big point of contingency of which is better. Like, you got the younger people who are like, well, the prequels are better to watch, right? Because they're more up to date.
The
ones,
the visuals still hold up.
Yeah, the old ones, the visuals still hold up, but it's a much slower movie, right? My favorite Star Wars movie to date right now is Rogue One because literally nobody fucking lives. I love the idea of heroic sacrifice. Not I don't like Mary Sue's. I don't like the I lost an eye and that's all the bad shit that came to my life after going on this epic journey where everyone should be dead. Fucking Rogue One was like, yo, these people, like, we're gonna remember your squad and not your names, like, because it's so true to life, right? Like, you know that it was like SEAL Team 6 that took out Osama bin Laden, but you don't know who any of their names are.
Exactly.
But that being said, it is classified and all that shit. But
But still,
besides the point, there was stakes, and they
Mhm.
lost some of those stakes to do a big deal.
And I guess, like, I think that would be, like I said, I think it would be wild to see something like that, because you're literally saying that, like, if you did a movie like that, because the Nightmareverse is the only way that you could do it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Because
by
Nightmare is so fucking dark. Like,
and by setting it up as well, you're basically saying, like, we're gonna make a full movie where literally every one of the main people in it, because of course you would have to have Batman, you'd have to have, like, some of these other ones like Flash, Joker maybe even shows up, to to beat Harley one last time, whatever they do with that sort of thing, right? But like, it would be, it would basically be saying, we're killing all of them. We're gonna kill them all. It's going to happen.
and also, as much as it pains me to say this, that also kind of sets you up for a restart if you were going to, if, if DC decided to move into New 52 instead, when it comes to their
Well, the
cinematic
thing was,
universe,
so
that gives you the capability.
So the thing, and this is one of the things that a lot of people don't know with it being DC, and I'll hit this real quick because, I'm the DC guy.
Gotcha.
But the original thing was we were supposed to get the Snyder cut, right? And then after the Snyder cut, then we go into the Nightmare sequence, and the entire second movie was set in the Nightmare future.
Okay.
And the entire Nightmare future thing is about trying to find a way to save Lois Lane. Because Lois is the key. Because Lois gets pregnant, and Darkseid kills her. And that's what flips Superman. Is that one moment? So the entire thing is about trying to get back to, like, and it's all because of Batman. Like, Batman, like, does something and it's the wrong call, and that's why we get what we get to. So it, like, that would be the entire second movie, and then the third movie is them basically stopping what happened and now taking the fight to Darkseid. And in that movie, that's where Batfleck actually dies.
Okay.
The original Justice League trilogy was supposed to have Batfleck dying as, like, the ultimate sacrifice.
That makes a lot of sense, because if anybody's going to do it, it's probably Batman.
Right? It was going to be the ultimate sacrifice sort of thing. So, like, that was the thing. So, like, even with trying to, like, you don't even need to do a reboot or restart anything, because all the second movie was going to be was just purely just in the future of the Nightmare sequence.
Well, I know. I was giving them the capability to reopen,
But then, like, that's the thing, though, right? So, like, with streaming services being what they are and everything, that sets up a stupid amount of fucking stuff that you could potentially do just in the Nightmare sequence. Do one season of a show in the Nightmare sequence, like.
And just imagine how many of the, like, the fan favorite, like I said, fringe comics you could put into that. You could start getting into, like, you could bring in Red Hood and Outlaws. You could bring in fuck, why are they escaping my name? Who's the super fucking popular fringe squad?
You mean like Dark, Justice League Dark?
Yeah.
Or are you talking like the Secret Six?
Secret Six is definitely one of them.
Fucking.
You could just pull it. What I'm getting at, without getting hung up on it too long, is you could bring in so many fan favorites that are underutilized.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's like that was always my thing with it. It was like it's. Of course, I hate going into it because as soon as I do, I start going on for fucking ages with it, right?
I mean, we can wrap up, or you can keep talking, my guy.
Okay, I'll finish it and wrap it at the same time. How about that?
All right. Do your thing, Husky.
So, DC works best with dark.
Yeah, true.
DC properties are dark, but the thing is each one has their own unique twist on it, right? A Batman movie is going to play different than a Shazam movie. Shazam movie is going to play different than a Wonder Woman movie. Each one of them, though, are dark in their own unique ways. In the Shazam movie, which is about a child getting superpowers, right?
Pretty good too.
We have a side dark story of a mother not wanting her son anymore, the son looking for said mother but not being acknowledged, and then when she finally does find him, her being like, no, 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 I don't want you.
It's emotionally dark.
Right? You have literally an entire boardroom eaten and killed by gluttony, wrath, rage, all the different seven deadly sins.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking dark.
Pretty
Right?
dark.
Wonder Woman. It's set as a war film, and you have literally an entire town killed by gas.
Yeah. pretty dark.
Right? So, like, that DC plays best when it plays dark. Right? It can have its own special, unique twists and turns on stuff. One of the things that I will say that I did like about the Suicide Squad movie was that there was dark moments. I think it could have been darker, but there were dark moments. And there were specific, almost character moments, where with a lot of these other films, it's like almost like an underlying plot sort of thing. In the most recent Suicide Squad movie, they're more character driven, dark spots, which is which is
the cast at that
when
point.
that's the thing is like with that it's nice. So like that's my thing is that like DC plays best when they play to their strengths, and I feel like because of the review bombing that happened with Batman vs Superman, which I still would argue to any day is one of the best comic book movies written.
Really?
Yes, I've done it multiple times, and I've actually changed a few people's opinions on it.
Huh.
And then the Snyder Cut is there's if you watch the Justice League from 2016 and then watch the Snyder Cut. The same consensus is why did this stuff happen? No. And it's one of those things where because of those two major moments, the Justice League got ruined. This as it's now being apparent. I just found out this past week. Studio Squad. The original Suicide Squad movie that got fucked up. Apparently, it's now being called the Studio Squad online.
That tracks.
Which I love that. I thought that was fucking hilarious. But like they removed scenes from BVS, which once they're added in, completely changed the context of the movie, which is wild to say because it's only about 30 minutes worth. They completely changed Suicide Squad, so it was a completely different thing. We already saw the trash that happened from the Justice League movie. So it's one of those things
Never
that like
even bothered seeing it.
if they just stay their course and stick with their guns and say we're the dark stuff, we're gonna be the kind of the more story development. We'll have our funny haha moments, but it's not gonna be forced. It's gonna be, kind of organic, and we're gonna have our moments that are really good. I think it would be
all
fun.
you have to do is put the comedy on the right character.
Leave it alone. Like
Green Arrow and fucking the Flash. And sometimes Cyborg. Let them have their ha-has, and everybody else can be serious because that's how the characters are laid out.
And that's the thing
don't make non-funny characters do funny shit.
Exactly. That's the biggest issue is like forcing characters to be something that they're not. And I feel like that's what Warner Brothers has tried to do. And the best moments of Warner Brothers and when that of the DC films is when that shit doesn't happen. I mean, like, after we get done with this, if you're fine, I was going to show you two fucking things from the Snyder Cut so you can see,
Yeah. I'll stick around.
Yeah, so, but, like, that's my thing. So, like, if they can just stick to that and just kind of go, like, okay, this is what we're going to do now. This is it.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, actually stick to it, because that's the biggest issue is that there's been so much wishy-wash, flip-flop, up and down with everything.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's my DC rant over with for the day until fucking I talk about it in 2 days.
All right, everybody, come out of your hiding spaces. He's done.
Right. Vandal, thank you for coming on today. I really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
I had a blast.
Yeah, I do believe I think this might be the longest running podcast now.
Oh hell yeah! Suck it, Jax.
But yet again, thank you for stopping by. Do you want me to leave any of your stuff down below in the description?
If you want, I mean, you can just pop my twitch.tv/ the2_Vandal.
There we go. I'll leave that in the links so people can find you. So when you do start streaming,
start streaming in September, as far as I know.
Well, there we go. So as soon as you do start streaming, all these guys can stop by and hang out. I
And I
appreciate it.
Guess I should probably also make like a Twitter and get back on social media.
Yeah, that comes down the line though. So
Yeah, I can take my time.
anyway, so thank you all for stopping by and hanging out tonight. I really do appreciate it. And depending on where you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Stay out of trouble, stay safe, and we'll talk to y'all later.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you.